It is time for the hour of power with the Heroic Vibration podcast. On this week episode, it's going to be spoiler-rific. I'm saying it early so you know it because we're talking about the Avengers, and more Avengers. We're going to break it down all the way. We're going to dissect this thing, you know what I'm saying? What up with your YouTube and YouTube busters? Your boy TripleCup Chuck and I'm up. And you're tuning in to the Vibration podcast where we talk about Marvel, DC, comic books, anime, video games, TV, and more. Welcome to my humble abode. Let's go. Hey, first up, I want to go ahead and we diving straight into it. So first up, I know what I'm saying, introduce a guest. He been on here before. You know what I'm saying? He came through for the clutch. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Man, go ahead and introduce yourself or Dark Adamus and let them know where they can find you at.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's been a while since I've done podcasts. I've been on hiatus for a little while. Chuck hit me up and I was just like, yeah, I've seen the movie. Might as well just talk about it. I mean, it's something that it's been out there for past weekend, so I mean, it's a good one. But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live, the same name.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. The Avengers movie, when I left it, it almost had me speechless. But now I feel like I'm able to get my feet under me where I can talk about it now. So I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for it. So next up, go ahead and introduce yourself, Collider, and let them know where they can find you at.
Yo, it's the Xbox Goes Kaleidoscope. And yeah, you guys can find me on at DirectX- on Twitter, my YouTube channel at Kaleidoscope, and on Xbox Live at Kaleidoscope. And yeah, we definitely gonna go knee deep into this one.
Shit, yeah. Hey, next up, I would like to introduce everybody to Savage Carter. Man, go ahead and introduce yourself and let them know where they can find you at.
What up, everybody? This is Savage. You can find me at Twitter at Savage Carter 225, or you can catch me on the Xbox at just Savage Carter.
That shit got really quiet.
Yeah, my bad. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey. You're like, oh, is he done talking? I don't know.
Yeah, that was on me. You know what I'm saying? It's all about that rhythm, that time, and that flow. But anyway, though, let's before we get to diving into this Avengers, because you know what I'm saying, we're gonna go straight all the way out into the Avengers. So if you haven't seen this movie, watch the movie first, then come back and watch this podcast. But if you've seen this movie, I want y'all to be right there with us in the chat because we're going to spoiler. So anything you put in the chat that's a spoiler, I'm letting people know ahead of time. That's what this is about. So we bringing it all the way out. So you know what I'm saying, everybody, we're gonna get involved into this here. So let's go ahead and get started with, you know what I'm saying, Dark Adamus, what you been up to, man, because you haven't been on a podcast. I ain't much seeing you on the quest in a minute, let them know, like, where you been, what you been up to.
Yeah, man, I just went through some family stuff, so just kind of taking a hiatus from that. Just wanted to, you hit me up and I was just like, I'll do it tonight just because, you're my boy Chuck. So, I figured, I'd pull through for you. So I figured, you probably didn't have very many people on. So I just thought I'd join in.
Yeah, it was one of them things where it's a blessing and a curse because, a person that haven't seen a movie, you don't want them. Yeah, you don't want to put them in that predicament. So, say, hey, man, look, I was running from people podcast and I was in a podcast. Somebody said Avengers. I dropped out the podcast. I counted to 20 Mississippi. Then I jumped back in the podcast to see if they was finished. I couldn't even hit the mute button because I couldn't even waste my time to didn't want to take the chance of me making a mistake in hearing anything. I was trying to get all the way as far away from it as I possibly can. And trust me, it was worth it because the ending, magnificent. They did something that I haven't seen in the movie yet. At least in no type of comic book movie. And that's how I'm gonna start off with the ending. Y'all want to run this do this backwards, or y'all want to start from the start, or y'all want to start?
Let's start from the start, bro.
Oh, you want to go ahead and start from the beginning?
Yeah.
I want to start it 10 years ago.
So you want to go to the start?
Exactly.
I'm
10 years of build up, bro.
Yeah, with hey, Collider. Matter of fact, make the statement that you were saying.
All right. Well, first of all, what I'm saying is like I noticed that logo for Marvel Studios. The I and the O were actually the numbers 10. All right. So it says Marvel Studios, but it says 10. All right. Basically alluding to the 10 years of buildup. And I've seen fanboys, you know what I'm saying, in different circles and whatnot, start saying, oh, well, the movie didn't have any context. There was no context. It's like, man, there's fucking 18 movies worth of context. All right. If you ain't watch all the movies, well, then I can understand why you might not understand some of the things that actually go down. Because they actually pull from each and every one of those movies, which is dope. I mean, we had
Every
the guy
last
from
one.
yeah, every last one. We had the dude that came out in Infinity War that also came out in the Incredible Hulk, which was Thunderbolt Ross. You know, he came out in the movie and whatnot. You even had cameos that people ain't even expect. You know what I'm saying? The Red Skull popped up in this movie from the first Avenger, Captain America, the first Avenger. So if you're a person that never seen the first Avenger and you only seen, let's say, for example, Civil War and maybe even Winter Soldier, but you never saw the first Avenger, well, obviously you might not understand who the fuck the Red Skull is, right?
I
Because
mean, you
there's
got
no
to be hiding
context.
under a rock not to understand who the Red Skull is.
Yeah,
If
No, no,
they
you,
got a lot of
definitely,
they got a
definitely.
lot of casuals though. They probably
Exactly. There
they
is a
just
lot of
hopping
casual
in.
film goes out there that only only know what they see on film, right? So they don't really know everything that actually comes out in comic books and whatnot. We might know it, but they
Yeah.
necessarily won't.
You know that was a different actor
Um,
playing Red Skull too.
oh
That was,
no, no, definitely, definitely, because Hugo Weaving has always stated that he never wanted to come back, but that's his own fault, man. That's on
right.
him.
I mean, I think he
You know what I'm
just
saying?
he the role he got his Red Skull, and he's seeing how big Marvel probably he was like, damn, I probably could have got a better role or something like instead of Red Skull. But you know, actually, Red Skull was pretty a good villain to me.
Actually, Hugo
I'm,
Weaving, I think, is part of the problem of Hollywood. That those Hollywood snobs where the superhero movies are inferior, that they're not worth their time, and so on and so forth. And he basically alluded to, oh yeah, I just rather do films with people like the Wachowski brothers. Well, guess what? Cloud Atlas wasn't all that. All right, and some of the Sense Eight was all right, but and that's by the Wachowski brothers. And Speed Racer was okay for what it was, but it wasn't all that. Once again, know what I'm saying? So it's just these Hollywood snobs and whatnot, and actors and actresses and shit that think that they're better than everybody else. When some of the best acting on film has actually came out in superhero films, from Heath Ledger to Josh
right.
Brolin. I mean, come on, man. It's like one came out in Batman, one came out in the Avengers. All right. Even the guy that played T'Challa, not T'Challa, Killmonger. All right, Michael
Great.
B. Jordan, standout actors, man. The Tom Hiddleston, Loki. I mean, come on, these are some of the best. You have some of the best actors in superhero films. From freaking the guy that plays Odin. What's his name again? I can't seem to place his name right now.
He played what's his name? Hi, we play Hi Clarice.
Yeah, he played Hannibal.
Hannibal, yeah.
Right, he played
Hannibal,
Hannibal and
yeah.
shit. Oh,
Yeah, I can't
so
think of his
you
name.
got some of the best actors around. You even have Paul Newman. All right, Paul Newman. Was it Paul Newman? No, it's not Paul Newman. The guy that came out in Winter Soldier. What was his name?
The actual Winter Soldier.
In Winter Soldier, the bad guy. I'm trying to remember his name right now.
I don't remember his name, but I do remember his character, and he played like he was a good villain too. I gotta give him that.
Yeah, he was. Know what I'm saying? You
Because
got all the top
I
actors.
understood his pain from the very beginning. Like that's
Mhm.
why I'm loving Marvel villains right now, because they not just doing stuff just because they doing stuff for a reason. They got purposes behind everything they doing.
Yeah. That opening was phenomenal, though. They just started it off exactly where Thor Ragnarok finished. All right.
Right.
So you hear like the radio call at the beginning where their warning is like, oh, we have women and children on this ship and this guardian ship, refugee ship. And then you see that Thanos and his children, right? The children of Thanos, the Black Order, are actually
Right.
ripping them a new hole. And you see
Right.
everybody fucked up. because I already knew they was gonna get effed up and whatnot.
No,
But
it
my
wasn't.
favorite
It wasn't
scene,
everybody. It wasn't everybody. They said
It was
half.
only half. It was only
I
half.
know we find that out later on though.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah.
don't know
Okay.
But
that
it
in the
looked like it
beginning.
did look
We
like
find
everybody got messed up.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My part is my favorite scene in the beginning though was that thing with Loki that obviously Loki's going to give up the Tesseract in order to protect his brother Thor, all right? Because they basically kind of made amends in Ragnarok, and then he said, "Oh, obvious the throwback to we have a Hulk." The Hulk comes in, starts whipping on Thanos. Everybody in the theater's losing their minds, right? And then you see that
Hulk
giant
get his
dude about
ass
to
whooped.
jump in. Yeah, no. Then the giant dude is about to jump in, and then
The other
Ebony
one
Maw
said,
was like,
"No,
nah,
no,
nah, nah.
Let him
Let
let
have
him
him
his
have
have
his
his
fun.
fun.
fun."
I
Yeah.
was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. Yo, and then the minute Thanos grabbed Hulk's hands and Hulk looked at him and then he just hit him hard. Yo, he took him out so fluidly. And then he went and body slammed him. That for the rest of the movie, the Hulk was scared to come back.
Man, hey,
All
didn't
right.
the way Thanos was fighting, like he actually looked like he wasn't just OP'd. He looked like he actually he could fight. You know, that's my biggest thing
Yeah.
about a lot of
All
villains.
right.
It was the fact that they fighting styles was always just an OP. He was OP with a purpose. Like he was OP, but you didn't feel like he was OP. You just felt like he was just strong. You felt like,
Mm-hmm.
what he had, he deserved. Like he gave you that feeling, like, like he was a tyrant, like like Megatron. You got that feeling like,
Mm-hmm.
he's strong for a reason. Like, he deserved to be that strong. He, a place he in for a reason. Then the way he beat Hulk ass, man, you got to give it to the people that did the special effects, because they actually looked like real people. The way their body was moving and stuff, like how you were saying,
I know.
he
It
was so
didn't seem like CG.
right. It seemed like you really seen real people fighting, and the Hulk was get on. So hey, so
Go ahead and touch on it. Go ahead. We done
nah,
already exposed it.
I ain't no.
The reason why the Hulk did not come back out in the whole movie, because he got his ass beat
bad,
and he was scared to fight.
Yep.
and he like Hulk. He was training like he was trying to push the Hulk out, and the Hulk was like, no, no. And then the Hulk was running back. I was like, man, the Hulk really got scared. Man, that was crazy. So, what you think about that, Dark Artemis? You think Hulk was scared?
You know what? It's kind of a funny little snippet there where he kind of like where Banner's kind of telling him like, "Come on, Hulk, I need you right now," and Hulk is like, no, I don't, basically holding back and saying, he doesn't want to come out. I don't think it's because he was like scared. I think it was more of the fact that it was like, this guy. It was more like shock. Like, this guy beat me. How did this happen? Because Hulk is kind of like, he's not really as dumb as people think he is. Like, he may say dumb things, but he's actually, kind of a smarter, guy in the comics, at least. He is. It's just it was kind of interesting to see that side of him, where he was just kind of like, I'm not gonna come out. And I think it's really he's trying to figure out a way to beat Thanos. That's what I think. I think that's what he's staying in Banner, and Banner's still fighting, but he's staying there to really just figure out what he can do to beat Thanos.
What he could bring to the table.
Yeah, that is exactly a good point, though. Yeah.
I mean, I understand that, but I also have seen a lot of people in life get the fight beat out of them, and they never want to fight again.
That is true, yeah. I
And
mean,
if you think about
it could be multiple things. Again, it could be he is scared. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, I can absolutely see that argument of him actually being scared. Definitely, that's definitely probably where they're gonna go with it, because I mean, it's Marvel, and that's just how they are. They don't want to make it too non-realistic, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
But
I'm thinking it is just because of what happened in Ragnarok. Think about it. When Hulk fought Thor, They got into a SmackDown brawl up in that arena. You know what I'm saying? Each guy was hitting each other, whacking the shit out of each other. Dudes was flying across the arena, smacking into walls and everything. And they were still going at each other. Thanos body slammed Hulk, and Hulk can't get back up. All right. Hulk was just like, oh my gosh, like what the fuck just happened? Just the look on his face is like, what the fuck just happened, man? This dude fucking literally beat the living snot out of me.
But if you remember in Ragnarok, he did get beat up by Thor in a way. Like Thor did.
Yeah. And they fucking and they went and they paralyzed Thor after that. That's why Thor started arguing with him later on. He's like, nah, he's like, I won. Right. And Bruce Banner was like, I don't know, that doesn't seem right.
So that's kind of why I had that argument of I think Hulk is trying to figure out a way to beat Thanos.
I mean, that's probably, but hey, you can look at it from this perspective too. When Banner was trying to call out the Hulk, it wasn't in times when Thanos was there. So if a person was scared, I think it'd be like if Thanos was right in front of him and he tried to call out the Hulk and Hulk seen him was like, no, but it was like times where they was fighting in Wakanda before Thanos got there. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he per se he was just scared of Thanos. I think it was more like they trying to push it to make you think he was scared of Thanos. And he was actually more mad about something Bruce had did, you know what I'm saying? You know how they got their own look, even though they share one body or one host, they have like a brother rivalry type thing. So when you say, man, look, come help me out, and he like, nah, you do this here. So I'm guessing he kind of like probably that could be a different option of looking at it too. But he might just got his ass beaten, just was scared. Like he never felt nobody punch me like that.
If anything, Thor could probably call out Hulk, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like there could be another thing like in the movie because there is going to be a sequel, right? We only got 1 year's time to wait for it and whatnot. Right. I'm sure if they come up with a good proposal, Hulk may come out. But we know he's coming out in the next movie. We know he's coming out. That's a given.
Right. Then he's going to come out. How? Whatever it's going to be, I think it's going to be just, I'm looking for the madness. He's going to be furious. And
the thing that tripped me out the most about the movie, though, is that Marvel delivered. All the hype, all the buildup, you know what I'm saying, for this movie. It's been years in the making. I mean, they alluded to it in the first Avengers movie. He came out with a little, I guess, like a glorified cameo, right, in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, all right, where he actually appeared for a few times. And they actually came through, man. It's like he ended up being one of Marvel's most compelling villains ever. All right. I mean, I thought I had Killmonger up there as one of the top villains in Marvel, but Thanos came through.
Actually, and he wasn't scared to fight either. He wasn't scared to actually, you know what I'm saying, get his hands dirty. Like he always had, like he actually was get into the grind witch and he'll really fight witch. And he had a purpose. Like Marvel's really been trying to capitalize on purpose. And they try to kind of relate it to stuff that you could, let's say we could relate to. Even when they did Captain America, not the Civil War, but the Winter Soldier, how they kind of had like the, you know what I'm saying, people trying to do one thing and, you know what I'm saying, he getting this conflict like, oh, is we really as good as I think we are and stuff, like, you know, just the whole conflict like that. So, you know what I'm saying, it's just how they coming along and then they bring his perspective, like, you know, and people be talking about we need population control, running out of this, you know, Chicken Little, you know, the sky is falling, you know, you're gonna always hear that type of stuff. So while you got that type of stuff floating in the air, what's better than give a reason to a tyrant like Thanos with to have the same mentality and actually have the mind state to actually pull this off and know he gonna lose some things too, and he willing to sacrifice on his behalf, and he figured if he willing to sacrifice, he gonna make everybody else sacrifice just to make the world a better place in the long haul. He not looking for the right here, right now type answer. So just the whole concept of Thanos and the way he did, you know what I'm saying, they did it. I got to, you know what I'm saying, give my hats to him. So they really, because the movie was really based upon him, but they did give everybody they shine and they moment to do. And if you notice, everybody came in with a score. Like you'll hear it might not be no theme song, but it'd be like they type of music. So like when they showed the Guardians of the Galaxy, when I first started hearing the music, the first thing that popped in my mind was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
Right. So when they went to the show on the Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like, okay, there they go. So they how they tied them in with Thor after he got after they got manhandled by by Thanos. That shit was crazy, man. Cause he Thanos beat him, killed what's the Watcher name? The dude that always just project him everywhere.
Heimdall.
Yeah, Heimdall.
Idris Elba's character. Yeah.
Yeah. He was actually like the first person to die on screen. Like everybody else was like, you know what I'm saying, was already either dead or you know what I'm saying, representative of that was dead. He was the actual first person you seen Thanos kill. So you know what I'm saying, they let you know at the beginning of the movie that more than one person was gonna die, but you really wouldn't catch on to it until at the end when you know he snapped the finger.
Now you know, now this is where fanboyism comes in. Because somebody alluded to like, oh, why is the black guy the first one to die?
That's what I was about to say, but I was like, I don't want to say.
You know, I saw people allude to that. But I was like,
why was he the first one?
But the first person I saw dead on screen was a Caucasian female. And then I saw an Asian, and I saw a whole bunch of other people dead on screen. But the first one we saw die actually in front of us was actually the black dude.
Hey, and I never even thought about that until just now. That's crazy.
That's the point, because it really has no bearing. Everybody was dying, bro.
But think about this. He had already wiped out a planet and took a stone before all that happened.
Right. Yeah, Xandar. Exactly, because he alluded that he fucked up Xandar. He got the Power Stone. That's something that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, the one that Peter Quill had in the first Guardian.
Yep, exactly. He alluded to that in the film. There's a lot of things that, as a matter of fact, I got to give it up to Marvel Studios, to Kevin Feige, to the directors Russo brothers, and the writers Marcus and McFeely. They actually balanced out the movie so fucking perfectly, man. I was just amazed that everybody got their shine on. Everybody had their own part of the story to tell. And even the Guardians seemed like they had bigger roles than like almost everybody else in the movie. Because in the Guardians, they gave screen time to everybody that was part of the Guardians. That I was like, you know what? That's tight. All right. And then the stuff where in New York, once they get to New York, after they leave the ship from Thanos. But let's go back to that Thanos ship, though. Heimdall, right? He was the first guy to die in the movie and whatnot. But it was, I guess, for a good cause and whatnot, because he was able to teleport Hulk to the Earth. And then, of course, we had the scene with Thor. He's basically dragging Thor around like a puppet. All right. And then he starts to tell Loki and whatnot. He's like, yo, give me the stone or I'm going to kill him. And Loki's, all right, go ahead, kill away. You know what I'm saying? And then right there, you see Loki's eyes tear up and whatnot while he's basically.
I really thought Loki was going to let Thor die. That's what I was like. I was waiting on it. I was really waiting on it.
Loki, I saw his eyes, the way his eyes was watering up and they was tearing up. I was like, he's not going to let his brother die, bro. He's not going to let his brother die. And then he changed his thing, and he obviously didn't. He ain't let his brother die, but then that's when he actually went and betrayed Thanos, because he tried to make it seem like he was going to join him and whatnot. And then when he said, oh, yeah, Loki, Odin's son, and he looks at his brother, and his brother looks at him, that's when he had that little knife behind his arm. I was like, oh, man, Loki's about to get bodied. I don't know, so this time he was about to get bodied, and this dude just grabbed him in his arms and then fucking snapped his neck right in front of his brother. And then threw his body on the floor. And then he was like, ain't no resurrections this time. I was like, oh, shit.
Honestly, and that quote right there is possibly not true. Because all Asgardians, when they die, are reborn.
But think about it, he not an Asgardian, quote unquote.
I know.
Loki is still a god of mischief.
Yeah.
Point blank.
He's a god of mischief, but he's not really
I'm just saying.
Asgardian, though.
Listen, but this the point I'm making.
All right.
In Ragnarok always happens. And every time all the gods get reborn, every time. Thor, Odin, Loki, they all get reborn. The reason why Odin wanted Thor to leave so that cycle would stop. That came from the comic book. It's something they didn't put in the movie. So it's still a possibility that Loki will come back.
I mean, he do all types of stuff because you always think Loki is the only person that I seen die more than Dean off of Supernatural.
Yeah, but it's normally a illusion.
I don't think this time was an illusion, though.
Yeah.
This time wasn't an illusion. When he actually died in the comic books, he ended up going to hell, but he eventually made his way back.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Every character seems to always make their way back, no matter what. In the comics, just
in the comics,
they just and it looks like that's kind of what they're doing with this Infinity War with Loki dying and maybe even Idris Elba's character, dying, just having the probably come back. I mean, they're gods, like they have to, have some power to be able to come back, something like that.
Hey, and
I'm thinking a lot of people are going to be shocked after they see Avengers 4.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be an interesting movie, man. I'm telling you that movie's gonna be. It's either gonna be as good or even better than this movie. And this movie, I think, is probably hands down probably the best Marvel movie I've seen to date.
Yeah, I agree.
Outside of Deadpool, but I have other things with Deadpool because I'm a huge fan of that. But
yeah, you sound like somebody else on this podcast.
Yeah, you.
No, you.
Man, Deadpool.
All right, let's go into some of the character interactions, though, man. All right, so after that whole Loki scene, right, and with Thanos and whatnot, we already felt the stakes, right? The stakes were raised in those first 5 minutes. We already knew this dude means business. And then next thing you know, we go to Earth. And then that's when we get obviously Bruce Banner crashing in through the ceiling, so on and so forth. And he's meeting up with Doctor Strange, and then from there it shoots over to Tony Stark talking with Pepper Potts. Right? Which, I saw people in the audience, they were cheering when they saw Pepper. They were cheering when they saw Pepper. Yeah, they was alluding to a baby, all that stuff, even though I don't think she is pregnant or anything. But if she is, that'll be something surprising, that's for sure. But then from there, we find the stakes, man, and how they're being raised. And then we have our interactions between Tony Stark and Doctor Strange. Basically, two peas in a pod.
Yeah, because they're both really smart, and they
both assholes.
Arrogant.
Yeah, they both talk to each other.
I mean, that encounter. Just call it how you see it. They both assholes.
Exactly. Yeah. That encounter with them too, like when they first meet each other, it was great. It was just like pure just comedy, just them going at each other and stuff like that. It was too funny.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing, man.
I think my favorite part of that whole interaction is what's your name? My name is Doctor Strange. Oh, we going with code names. Well, I'm Spiderman.
Oh, no, Spiderman. hey, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say words when you don't say nothing. When Spider-Man told Doctor Strange that if you pay attention to what Doctor Strange do, he just
looked at him.
He gave him that look like, look, boy, please, and walked away from him.
That's another thing that I liked about their first meeting and whatnot, because not only that, but it ties into the other movies. All right, right out the gate, because they bring Tony up to speed as far as the Infinity Stones and what the Infinity Stones are, and then Bruce Banner breaks it down to Tony. He's like, "Yo, you remember the attack in New York?" So obviously you have to have seen the Avengers movie, because if you don't, you don't know what they're talking about. He's like, "Do you remember the attack in New York?" It was all that
Thanos.
Was him.
He sent Loki the first time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when Tony started to take things seriously, right? Because he was still like, wasn't fully comprehending the whole thing until Banner told him that. That's why you actually need to see all the previous Marvel films in order to get a richer experience. All right, you'll definitely understand everything that the characters are talking about. And now, I thought that
is one thing I got confused about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in Ragnarok, right? When Hera walked through there and said that Infinity Gauntlet was fake, right?
Yeah.
And if they had the fake one, that means it wasn't a real one yet, because the dwarf didn't make it, or He made two. Like, I'm lost.
Okay, yeah. I think the gauntlet itself is more than one. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just the whole it's the blueprint for him. That's the whole concept of it. Like, you can probably could make as many as he want of them, but I don't think that the one that he had was real, and I don't think that was the first one that Thanos got was the first Infinity Gauntlet that ever been made.
I
think he just got to make him another one.
But she said in that movie that the one in Asgard was fake.
Right.
Yeah, which we all assumed it was fake anyway because we saw Thanos had his own gauntlet.
Right. But in Infinity War, the dwarf was like, yeah, I had to make this for Thanos. It was the only one like it. And he sealed off my hand so I couldn't make another one. So that's why I got confused it.
They probably made a fake one in order to mislead people. All right, because think about it. Most people didn't know that the collector had the ether. Or the reality gem, right? The reality stone.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
All right, and they alluded that at the end of, actually, that was in one of the after credit sequences. I don't know which movie. I think it was the Guardians, right? Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy. They had an after. No, it wasn't the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I thought it was Ragnarok.
No, Thor: The Dark World, the after credit sequence. They had Lady Sif and one of the Warriors 3 go to the Collector.
Oh yeah.
So it was the year before the Guardians of the Galaxy came out. That they went to the Collector and gave him the ether. So even that, you need to watch the after credit scene, people, because there's a lot of people that normally leave the theater once the movie says directed by, and they're already out the window and whatnot. And I'm like, dude, man, you had to stay to the ending of Infinity War in order to get uplifted with the stuff that's going to be coming forward, man. But I don't want to get into that yet, though, man.
Yeah, that's the big payoff.
Yeah. That's the big payoff and whatnot.
But hey, Savage got me thinking about that though, Collider. Like, really and truly, since he said that, I mean, that is a loop right there, because if that was the only one he made, then how would he have a fake one to be a replica of something that haven't been made? And then if you think about it, Thanos had one way back then, like how you said, like way back in the first Avengers movie. So he had one back then. So how would Thor just finding out that Thor did this? So like, this been what, 8 years? I mean, 8 years and 8 times that this went on. So at least he should have knew that, you know what I'm saying? How could they put it like that?
I mean, that the fact Thor said he was 1,500 years old. So Odin should have knew something more about the Tesseract than that it was Infinity Stone. Like,
yeah, but you know, it's like we say, it's a movie. We came in, so people know we're not saying this because we don't like the movie.
Yeah, but remember, that's why Asgard only stayed with the Tesseract. They knew it was an Infinity Stone, because right now, go back to the after credit sequence with Lady Sif, that the reason they brought it over to the Collector, because they already had the Tesseract. They don't want to have 2 Infinity Stones in the same place. That's why they gave the Reality Stone to the Collector in order to separate them.
And one thing I want to say, I told everybody the Soul Stone wasn't in Wakanda.
Man.
Yeah. That's why we get that surprise reveal that it was with the Red Skull this whole freaking time.
I know that little Red Skull like cameo. I was just like, really? I was all like, didn't he die? I started thinking about it. I was like, no, he didn't. That's right, he didn't.
He actually got teleported and whatnot. Yeah. And then he was cursed, right? Because God knows how long he's been there, bro.
Yeah.
Because this happened back in the day during World War II. That motherfucker's still there.
Yeah, he's had to be there for so long that, you know, now he's just like I don't even care to leave, basically.
I don't think he can actually kill himself. Because think about it, it's some shit that he's cursed now. He's cursed. He was cursed for freaking basically guarding that the Soul Stone and whatnot, and he knows the only way to get it, and he'll never be able to get it, obviously, because he has nobody to sacrifice.
Okay, but this is the thing I'm wondering. Since Thanos got the Soul Stone, do that mean he can leave now?
He can leave where?
The place where he at, the Red Skull. He was there to guide people to
Um,
the Soul Stone. Somebody actually got it. So do that mean we gonna
Good
see him in a
question.
future movie?
Good question.
And I think
There's
that's
a
why they
lot of
changed
things.
actors.
I think there's a lot of things that this movie opens up for the future MCU. If we look at it as a giant television series in the movies, this would actually be the ending of season 3, and it ended on a cliffhanger.
Right.
And the beginning of season 4 is going to let us know what the new season is going to be about.
And that made perfect sense. Because he should better leave now. And if he better leave, then he can get back into it with
Captain America.
Yeah, with
Captain America, exactly, dude.
Hey,
And that's
they
if
don't call
Captain
him
America
Captain
makes it
America on the
out
movie.
of Avengers 4.
Hey, they don't call him Captain America. They just call him Cap. They dropped the
Yeah,
whole-
exactly.
yeah,
But that is if he makes it
I
out of Avengers 4. Though.
understand they call him Cap, but to me, he always gonna be Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be that to everybody, man.
That's the thing. Like to speak on the whole Red Skull thing, you know, Red Skull has always been Captain America's arch nemesis, you know, and
Right.
and to see him make a little cameo in this, I can almost guarantee you that we will see him in Avengers 4. And only
I know
maybe
that would be dope.
I think it'll be him and like Thanos and like a bunch of other like just villains just coming in for the Avengers and stuff. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting you know, two-parter there.
I want to see something like the mutants or the Inhumans come in and save their ass
That's
from
not happening.
Thanos. I just said.
Not happening, bro.
I'm just saying.
I know.
That show failed already, so I don't think they're gonna do that.
They don't have to actually use those Inhumans.
That's true. They don't have to do that. Honestly, I think
this is one thing we can look at though positively though. They haven't the stuff that happens in the TV show hasn't necessarily tied into the MCU.
Now,
the stuff that happens in the MCU does tie into the shows, but it's not the other way around. All right, so that Inhumans, I can guarantee that's not even going to show up, and the mutants not going to show up. Adam Warlock's not going to show up. Silver Surfer, Galactus, not going to show up.
They already teased Adam Warlock already. So
yeah,
I mean,
but they would have to actually introduce him in a movie.
That's true. Well, I mean, they might introduce him in 4. You know, that might be the route that they're gonna take. If they take the comic route, it'll be Adam Warlock who does everything. But who knows? I mean, it could be a number of people because you know there's so many like people in the Marvel universe that are pretty much like Superman for DC. You know, like there's so many.
Yeah, dude. Like DC has just Superman.
Yeah, they just have
Marvel.
Superman. Yeah,
Marvel has so many characters that are so OP'd and whatnot that you're like, dude, you got Silver Surfer, you got Captain Marvel, you got Adam Warlock.
They got Shazam.
All right, okay.
It's like, all right, yeah, Shazam. Okay.
You got Shazam and Wonder Woman.
Well, they do have Wonder Woman. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, they do got Wonder Woman. But either way, though, we're not getting into a Marvel DC debate here, though. Definitely not. But
I'll take Thanos over Darkseid.
The sense of tension you have while you're watching this movie was equal parts funny, equal parts dramatic. I mean, the Guardians, the introduction to the Guardians, that shit was epic. Like the way TripleCup said, the minute that music came on, you knew it was the Guardians. All right. And then they had that interaction with Thor, which was just priceless. I mean, that was comedy gold, man. You have freaking Drax having a man crush on freaking Thor. You know what I'm saying? He had a man crush on Thor, man. He's like, that's not a dude. You're a dude. That's a
You're a
man.
dude. This is a man.
I was like, oh, what the fuck? And then he came out and he said, "Oh, it's like a pirate had a baby with an angel."
With an angel.
I was like, what? And then you got Gamora feeling his muscles. Like, oh, his muscles are like this. And it's like, you see Star-Lord is like, yo, you can stop touching his muscles now. You can stop touching his muscles.
Yeah, he was,
and then he started.
Then Rocket say, "Quill, shut up. You one sandwich away from being fat."
That's the thing with Thor, as you notice, like throughout the time of him being in Thor to Thor the Dark World to Thor Ragnarok, he's become more and more godlike, and more of a badass, in a way. And in this movie, he's really proved to the fans and to the Marvel universe that he can hold his own. I mean, he like just in that scene with him like talking to the Guardians of the Galaxy, you could tell like he was just like, we got to get shit done, and like we got to go, like,
he's over here grabbing the ship and everything, and then you got Peter Quill try to talk like Thor.
I know.
Like, you shall not. You shall not touch my ship and whatnot. And Rocket's like, "Are you changing your voice, Peter?"
And
then he's like, "No, I'm not." And then you hear Mantis, "You did it again."
One thing I want to hit on that we kind of did pass up.
All right,
that ship that Thor's people's on, all the Asgardian was on. Did you pay attention? That was Beta Bob's Ray ship.
Beta Ray Bill?
The same thing. Yeah, that guy. It's Beta Ray Bill, Beta Bob Ray. It's Beta Bob Ray.
Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Bob. No, Beta Ray.
Beta Ray Bill.
I mean, I wish Bloody was here right now. Man, that's one of his favorite. Every week he's got to say something about him.
But the ship they was in, that was the actual ship from the comics that Thor saved them from, and they was in that ship.
All right.
That was the Easter egg. That was, and
yeah, definitely. There's a lot of Easter eggs. I mean, just the Hulk smashing into the Sanctum Sanctorum and the Infinity Gauntlet. It was actually the Silver Surfer.
Right.
That's the thing. Like it. There's so many Easter eggs in this movie. I think they could have made the whole movie just Easter eggs because there was just so many, man. Like, it was crazy.
The fact that they showed everybody that Groot is not just some dumb tree, and he's more powerful than people think, because not just anything would have held that axe together.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Thor.
It goes to like being worthy, right? Because if that axe works the same way as Mjolnir, that you have to be worthy in order to lift it, like the way Vision picked it up, that's when everybody after the Vision picked up Thor's hammer in Age of Ultron, everybody right out the gate forgot that he could be evil or he could be Ultron or whatever. They was like, all right, well, he's worthy. All right. But yet they come up with the jokes towards the end of the movie, which actually Master Chief pointed out earlier. He was like, oh, yeah, but remember, they was talking about the elevator. They was like, what if you put it in an elevator? It'll still go up. Is the elevator worthy? And I was like, all right, but the elevator's inanimate. No, I'm saying so. But I understand where they're coming from. No, I'm saying it's just these things that they throw in Marvel comics and whatnot, which is a trip.
Hey, then Thor later on was speaking to Groot, and they asked him like, "Man, how you know what he's saying?" They was like, "Man, they teach
they teach this in Asgard."
Right?
Yeah, they teach. It was the class in Asgard or whatever. Yeah, it's just like really.
It's a language we have to learn in Asgard, and that basically let everybody know Groot is not the only one of his kind. For the people who don't read the comic books.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, that's
there's
the thing.
multiple
I think
Groots.
This movie really, kind of brought all the movies together, plus added a lot of stuff that people didn't know that were in the comic books. People who don't read the comic books found out a lot of things about, different characters and different, like the whole thing with Thor knowing Groot's language and everything like that. It's just it all kind of came together, and they did it so well that it was just like if you didn't like the movie, then that's your problem. If you if you did like the movie, then awesome, because I like the movie as well.
Right, and they doing that on that Marvel humor too. Where they say stuff like that is I always give you that Marvel humor.
Right.
Like, oh, we learned such and such in school. It was for elective. It's the Marvel humor, but at the same time, they teaching you something that, like how Sam was saying, there's more than one Groot out there letting you know if he got a language, they got a whole colony, probably a whole planet full of them.
That's the thing, though. A lot of people think, oh well, there's so much. There's almost like too much humor in these movies, and I'm like, no, because the comics were actually humorous at times too. Like, I mean, not every issue was humorous, but there were a lot of issues that were, had some really fun moments.
In the comics, Groot started off as a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to think about it though. A lot of people deal with their stuff with humor.
No, definitely.
So it don't take me out the movie when they do it. It don't take me out the movie. As long as they do it realistic and not go overboard with it, and they keep it a little more of a charm. I don't see why there's no problem with that.
I think the only movie that they did it where it was a little almost too much was Thor: The Dark World, where it was just kind of like it was just a little too much humor in it.
Yeah, we get that scene where everybody thought Loki died, and then the next thing you know, you see this joke and whatnot. Everybody's still in tears, like, dude, man, really? It's like, I'm not sure I want to laugh right now, man. I'm feeling sad as shit.
But this movie, they definitely did it right. They definitely had the humor there. There was, I actually have to go see the movie again because when I saw it opening night. People were like, all excited. I went to the fan event where everybody gets a like memorabilia from the movie and stuff like that. It was just like. It was a great event. It was just like everybody was laughing at parts where I was like, I want to hear this, damn it. It was just like I definitely have to see the movie again. But I mean, from what I gathered from the film, I mean, I learned a lot from stuff.
Yeah, it basically touches on geek culture like a motherfucker. This movie, because this was sci-fi and fantasy taken to the extreme, man. To the extreme. And there were so many stand out moments. I mean, after we get the thing with the Guardians, then we go over to Scotland, all right, where we see the Vision and the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And they were actually in bed. You know what I'm saying? You see the human version of the Vision. I was like, oh, they got busy. I was like, that's what's up. All right. And then, they're about to kiss and the whole nine. Then you see them walking out into the thing. And then that's when they see the thing on the TV screen with what happened in New York, right? And then right there, and they had just discussed about staying together. And he's like, oh, how about I don't go with my people, you don't go with your people, and we just stay together. Let's just do us. All right. And then this is one of the things where people have actually told me about Vision. It was like, oh, the Vision ain't do nothing in the movie. I was like, dude, they took out Vision from the very beginning. Corvus Glaive came up behind him and stabbed him, and he wasn't able to phase through that fucking spear. That shit damaged Vision for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we saw how OP Scarlet Witch was. All right, because Scarlet Witch, even though some people came to back her up and whatnot, she could have probably taken these two dudes on by herself.
To tell you the truth,
when she stood in front of Vision and she's getting ready to fight, I was like, your Scarlet Witch about to rip these two people a new one.
Yeah.
And then we see the thing with Captain America, and then Falcon. And then Black Widow, and they start teaming up on Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive.
Yeah.
And that was just so epic, man. I mean, the theater was freaking thunderous applause. Everybody was just tripping out after Cap caught that glaive, that Corvus Glaive threw at him. He just caught it in the air, and then freaking threw it right to freaking Black Widow, and Black Widow came up and stabbed him with his own glaive. I was like, oh man. I was like, that was crazy. I mean, just the way they did it, the way it came off. What were your thoughts on that, guys? What did you guys think about that scene?
That scene was
that was one of the coolest scenes I saw. I'm gonna keep it real. Like When I saw that, I was like, when I saw him throw it, I was like, Cap gonna catch it. I knew that was gonna happen, but the fighting after that, yeah, I was like, I was all the way into that.
And the thing is, the lead up before we even got there, though, man, just the stuff with Vision fighting against Corvus Glaive, that he throws that I-beam at him, then he like blocks it and then like redirects it back at him. Then you have freaking Scarlet Witch fighting against Proxima Midnight. She saw Vision was in danger. She flipped Proxima Midnight over her body and slammed her into some buses behind her. Came over to Vision. I was like, wow, this thing is just so epic, man. Just from beginning to end, that whole sequence was just mind blowing.
The choreograph for the way they did the fighting scene, especially with
dude.
See, my whole thing is when you were saying back to what you were saying about when Vision getting stabbed early into the movie, I think they was trying. I think they had to do something like that to keep him from
using his powers.
Yeah, to keep from using his powers and kind of like
because he would have been able to. Come on now, Vision would easily be able to phase through any attack and tear down anybody if he could use his full power.
Yep. That's why they had to eliminate him early.
Right.
So like that, they could try to get the stone off his head.
I was the way that staff was working, I thought that staff was like meant to stop that stone.
Yeah, I think it was too. I think they specifically made that staff for that because he was actually trying to get the stone off his forehead with the staff.
With the staff, he was just sticking the staff to his head and the stone coming off. So I'm like, I think.
Yeah, but
Thanos, I don't think this is a regular. But come on, it's Thanos, man. Thanos the Titan. He had on all the rest of those Infinity Gems. Like, how you think Thanos like he big enough to do it without the gems?
But yeah, probably so. But still, though, you got. I mean, they even made jokes about that themselves in the movie. Because if you think about it, Michonne, I can't think. What's the name of
Okoye?
Okoye, yeah. She turned around and Black Widow. I mean, not Black Widow. Scarlet Witch jumped down and just started blowing stuff up everywhere.
Boom, but you jump into the ending, bro. You jump into the ending.
What are you doing, man?
Hello,
like not even in the middle yet.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just saying that she made a comment about people being right there. Made a people about comment about people being OP. That's why they kind of pulling them back in the movie. So I'm just saying that she pretty much made that same statement to let you know that
actually
they know
not really. Man,
yes,
we'll get into that later, though. Trust me. You might see it differently once you hear our perspective and our takes on it. And
okay, well, you read about that. I just seen it with a big smile, man. I ain't gonna lie, I was Kool-Aid out.
All right, so we had of course that the beginning sequence, know what I'm saying, where all the Asgardians got bodied, Loki and all that. Then we had the stuff in New York, right? Which we really didn't go into too much detail in New York and whatnot. But it was funny, the interactions that happened in New York, know what I'm saying? The way these guys came down in order to take over, which was what's this guy's name? His name was Ebony Maw, right? And that big brute dude, they came down to take over the Earth. And the first thing Tony Stark says is that the Earth is closed. All right. And then he calls him Squidward right after the fact. And then he tells Bruce, is like, all right, Bruce, you take the big dude out because the big dude is coming at them and whatnot. And he's trying to change, but he can't. And he's like, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards. It's like, and then from there, he's like, all right, fuck it, I got it. And then he goes and he uses that bleeding edge, right? He walks forward and the bleeding edge just starts forming around Tony Stark. The whole audience fucking lost their shit, yo. And he went up against this dude, had that stuff come out freaking Iron Man's back and blasted this dude all the way towards Ebony Maw, and he just smacked him to the side, letting people know how strong Ebony Maw is. And during all this, we have Peter, right? We have Peter on the bus crossing a bridge and whatnot.
Straight spider senses.
Yeah, it's like his hair stood off on his arms and whatnot. He looked back, and then he tells Ned, his homeboy, like to cause a distraction. Ned didn't even notice what Tony was saying when he saw the ship. And right there, he said the first instant that came to his head, we're all going to die. And he ran to the back of the bus. And everybody ran with him. And then that's right there is when Peter takes off. And then we see the Stan Lee cameo because he was the one driving the bus.
Right.
All right. So everybody had a few giggles on that one. And then we see how you know, the relationship between Tony Stark and Peter. Because once
Wait,
Peter
wait,
comes in
wait.
to help Tony.
You missed something. You missed something.
No, I know there's a
Did
few
you pay
things.
attention to? No, you did. You pay attention when he jumped out that bus and the jacket he had on with the Spider-Man suit. You remember? You don't remember that outfit from old Spider-Man?
I'm not sure.
We talking about the one when he had the book sack on his back when he had hopped out when he just had the mask on his face.
No, when he jumped out, when he was going across the bridge, he didn't have the book sack on. He just had that brown jacket on. That was an Easter egg from an old Spider-Man comic.
Oh, damn. But see, yeah, we know, Savage, you can pull back from the 1940s. Like, you'll be looking like, man, how did he discover this? Yeah, you're right about that.
But that whole battle though with Peter, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, it was all pretty dope, man. It was epic. It was epic, and this is all before we even got to the
Iron Spider suit.
Exactly. That's when the Iron Spider suit actually happens up in orbit. All right. Tony's like, come back. And he's like, nah. And then he runs out of air. Then he just falls backwards and the suit catches him.
Yeah, I know Tony Stark. Oh no, Tony Stark said, you're losing oxygen up there. Yeah, ain't no oxygen up there. That's when he said, oh, that makes sense. And that's when he was still just holding on, trying to breathe, like he was gasping for air.
Yeah, I can't breathe.
Like, I'm gonna catch you. And then all of a sudden he just let go. And that's when that suit that he called for way earlier. Now he ain't just call it.
Nah. The thing is though, Tony Stark is like, all right, time for you to go home, kid. And then the parachute pops up and he's like, oh, come on.
Gave him a fire introduction and try to run him away.
And then once he actually get up and he was like, I wish I'd have stayed on the bus.
Right. Ultimately,
he said, I wish he would have stayed on the bus. It was like the action sequences was epic though, because like at least Spider-Man, I remember that one scene where they was fighting that big brute and he threw like a car or a taxi or something. And Spidey went and grabbed it with like his webbing and pulled the car right back at the dude and smacked the dude with the car. That I was like, oh shit. It's like they're doing things and whatnot, but it's according to their power sets and levels. Spider-Man is OP in the Marvel MCU. He's fucking.
But no, he's
Spider-Man
right though. No,
I mean, that's the way Spidey always was. But I'm glad that he's in the MCU in order to portray his power levels like this.
Right.
He's never portrayed it like this before. It's like a little kid, yo. He's like, what, 17-ish? Motherfucker just grabbed this.
Oh, he probably about,
I don't know, he was like 15, maybe. Yeah. 15, 16. He was on a school field trip.
Yeah, I think like 10th grade. So he still got.
You're a senior. Ain't no school field trips.
Yeah, right. True that.
But yeah,
but that whole scene was epic. Then we went into the interaction with the Guardians. Then we actually go back to that ship, right? We go back to the ship because Tony decided to go to Titan, to Thanos' home planet. Or not even, they ain't going to Titan. They're trying to free Doctor Strange, right? Because Doctor Strange was captured by Ebony Maw. Right. And then Peter actually tells him, have you seen the movie Aliens? So I know what they was alluding to because it's been a while since I seen the movie Aliens. But then when Tony did that thing that he blasted out the side of the freaking door and Ebony Maw flew out, out the, I guess not the airlock, but he flew out into outer space. That's when we see the Iron Spider suit, the tent, how do you call them, legs and whatnot? Those spider legs come out of his back. As he saves Doctor Strange. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Then Doctor Strange tells Tony, like, all right, we need to get back. And Tony was telling me to turn in that stone. But he's like, nah, I'm going to protect the stone with my life. And Tony was like, all right, well, let's take the fight to them. He's like, all right, they all agree they're going to take the fight to them. But Doctor Strange tells Tony, then and there, if it comes to choosing between the stone and you and the kid, I feel sorry for you guys because I'm going to pick the stone.
Yeah, you're going to choose the stone.
I'm charged with protecting the stone. Now, we all know how it turns out, evidently, which wasn't quite like that, but it's just a statement that he made in the beginning of the movie.
And that's how he truly felt, too.
He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. And that's
I mean,
why. That's
he
why.
wasn't lying. He told the
Stark
truth.
said,
But
"It's like, oh, great moral compass you have there." Right. That's what Tony Stark told him. You
right,
got a great
right.
moral compass right there.
But I don't think Tony Stark even. The only person that understands what Doctor Strange did at that point is Doctor Strange.
Exactly.
Because, all right, I'm gonna save this for the end.
I'm starting. I'm getting where you going.
I'm gonna save it for the end.
I mean, you got to pay attention. They be saying it's the list stuff what they be saying. Sometimes you got to really pay attention to. Like before that, Tony Stark had said, we got a kid that know old movie references. So that's when he had blew the hole into the wall. And I mean, just little statements like that. Thanos had said, "Be more careful of what you say." When Loki tried to stab him, double cross him, and how he just grabbed him, and he let him know right then everything that they said on this movie counted. Every line, every word, every syllable. Anytime they went to a location, they showed it. They made it count. They showing you like every place on here, it counts. So they had so much stuff on there that they cut all the fat out and say everything in this movie counts. They made sure they had the reference, anything they had on that they could put a reference to it. They made it count. And that's another thing I gotta say about before you get into what you're about to say about what Dr. Strange was saying, Savage.
Oh, I'm gonna wait to the end about that, about my Doctor Strange.
Oh man, I gave a good introduction because I know
it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good. It's like so far, Thanos at this point already had 2 stones, right? He had the Power Stone, which they alluded to that he actually smashed Xandar.
Yep.
And then he also had the second stone, which is the Mind Stone, the Tesseract. So he ended up getting those 2 stones. And then we're going to.
Hey, didn't he get the other stone from his brother before he met with the Guardians? Because that's how they knew he was on. Oh no, this
no, the third stone actually he gets it from nowhere, stone. Right? Because after Thor was talking to after Thor was talking with the Guardians and met up with the Guardians, that's when Rocket is such an ass though, man. I freaking really love Rocket in this movie because Rocket, he see Thor getting ready because Thor knows what's going down. Thor knows he needs to get a new hammer. All right, basically, he's going to Nethervalir, and nobody knows what it is, but Rocket knows what it is. He's like, wait a minute, that's the place that makes the most powerful weapons in the galaxy. And Thor was like, yeah, it is. He's like, oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna go with you guys. He's like, oh, what are you, the captain? He's like, but yeah, that's me. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yo, let these morons go to nowhere and get the other stone and whatnot. I'm gonna go with freaking Thor in order to, get the most powerful weapons ever. All right? And then Thor from there, he was like, all right, good. He's like, yeah, go ahead.
And Thor said, bye, morons.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't stop laughing. Priceless.
I couldn't stop laughing.
I'm pretty sure Thor doesn't know what morons means. All right.
And, hey, I'm pretty sure Thor knows what it means, and he acting like he don't know.
No, he don't. No, he don't. Look what happened. Look what happened in Ragnarok when he met up with Doctor Strange. He was like, all right, why don't you send me an email? Do you have a computer? What do I need that for? It's like Thor, there's certain things about in Earth language and whatnot that Thor just does not get, bro. All right, so I'm sure when he called him morons, he doesn't know what the word moron means.
Hey, but it'd been fun. As a matter of fact, it's just funny either way if he did or if he didn't.
No, it is. It's just the way Thor's character is, man. There's certain things that he'll use the words and whatnot, but he really doesn't know what they mean.
Right. I mean, that's that Marvel humor, and they be able to get their point across and just do little stuff like that. So you going on a roller coaster on this movie. So far we'd have seen 3 people die. We'd have went up. We went now with people scourging, running behind these stones and trying to make plans and preparation for Thanos because he coming. So then you got through all this here, you got funny moments that just give you humor that makes you laugh and just kind of brighten up your spirit right before they get ready to take you back down. Because after that,
as a matter of fact, a scene right after that, right after the rocket takes off with Thor and Groot, right? And the Guardians go off to nowhere, and the Guardians are on their way to nowhere, and we see that interaction between Peter Quill and Gamora, right?
Right.
And Gamora is explaining, the stuff that's going to go down, that she knows something. Peter's like, what do you know? She's like, I can't tell you because then you'd know. Know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to let you know what it is. And then she talks about how much she loves him. and we see that first kiss between
That was the
Peter
first
Quill
time
and
she
Gamora.
ever. The first time they ever, between the two of them on screen, said they loved. One of them said they
Each
loved
other.
the other.
Exactly. It's the
Yeah.
first time they ever said that on screen, that they actually loved each other. And then as they're about to kiss, that's when they notice Drax is in the room crunching on
Yeah,
something.
Drax.
Nuts.
He's like,
He said, "How long you been standing there? An hour.
I've been invisible.
He's like,
I'm invisible."
this is how to become invisible for
Man, that
long
is
periods
crazy.
of time.
That was so priceless. That was epic. That was
Oh
epic.
man, it's so stupid.
And he was really
I'm saying?
convinced he was invisible till Mantis walked in and said, "Hey, Drax," and he was like, "Damn."
Yeah, then he walked away. Like, you eating them chips slow, you not staying still, you moving, but I'm moving so slow.
I'm moving so slow, you don't even know I'm moving.
Yep. And then that's what we get, where things start to get darker and they take a darker turn, because the minute they get to Nowhere, and we see Nowhere in the first Guardians, how lively that place was. There was nothing moving in that place. All right. Everything was just like shut down. They're like, wait a minute, this don't seem right. What's going on? And then we see how Peter Quill and the Guardians are. They normally don't listen to Peter. All right, because Peter puts up his hand like everybody to stop, and everybody walks by.
Just walk past him like, I ain't even see him.
He's like, okay. And then he tells Gamora, he's like, you go
Technically,
right.
Peter Quill is the weakest Guardian. To be honest, like, honestly, he is the weakest one. Who can he actually beat on his team? He can't beat Drax. He can't beat Gamora. Rocket would kill him. And how you gonna beat Groot?
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
But
about
he a
that.
good leader,
and the next two members of the Guardians in the comic books, talking about the comic books, are Iron Man and Agent Venom.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think he's straight though. I mean, you know, they
I mean, he a good leader. He a good leader. But far as if they ever just think about this, if it was ever a mutiny on that ship,
the attack on Titan in the third act, that was Peter's plan.
Man, that wasn't his plan. He just
yes, it was his plan. Watch the movie again, bro.
Watch it again, G.
Because
he told they told Tony they wasn't following his plan. His plan.
Yep. Peter told her straight up. He said, "Your plan sucks.
Your plan sucks. I got a better plan."
They know who Thanos is. They know who Thanos is.
Yeah.
Tony Stark does not know who Thanos is.
But look, they said we improvise. That was their whole plan.
No. And what was the thing after Tony Stark smashed that thing into that giant column into Thanos? What was the first thing Peter said? Yeah, if you want to piss him off.
Oh yeah. Oh, did.
All right, because they
he
know
said,
how to fight Thanos.
You want to piss him off.
Okay.
And then when they finally started getting advantage of him, that's when he said, "Now this is my plan."
Yep. But we'll get into that in a little bit, yo.
You know what? I like that. Y'all, I ain't think that deep into that one because I just thought they just improvised.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, that Gamora still didn't listen to Peter, so she went after Thanos' head up, and she stabbed Thanos, right? And he's like bleeding on the floor and whatnot, and then she starts crying. She literally starts crying and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And, you see the emotion on her face, and then everybody's right there. Then you hear Thanos talking. He's like, tears. That's surprising. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, this motherfucker has a reality stone. He already had it. They thought that he didn't have it. He already had the shit. He was just waiting for them. He was waiting for them to bring him Gamora. Why? Because he knows that Gamora has the other stone, the Soul Stone, or knows where the Soul Stone is at. That's what he's thinking. That's what Gamora didn't want to tell Peter. And but she made Peter promise her.
It's the fact that he didn't know he had to sacrifice Gamora to that exact moment.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I think she knew that Peter.
I think she knew
wouldn't kill her. She knew that, and she didn't divulge a lot of the stuff that she did throughout the movie to him. Because she knew. She was just like,
well, no, I don't know, but because she did say
Peter promise. We could get into that in a little bit because there's still some stuff before we get there. But Gamora made Peter promise to kill her, right? Because she didn't want Thanos to get the information that he knew. And Peter, of course, is going to do it, but then Thanos started acting like a father at that moment.
And turned this shit to a bubble gun.
The boyfriend. He's like, the boyfriend. He's like, you ain't got it in you. Do it. And he pushes her head in front of his gun. And, you know, right there, she's like, I love you. And Peter's like, I love you too. And right there, he's about to blast her. And that's when you see the bubbles come out.
Man, I really thought he was going to squeeze that trigger. I knew
he was going to do it. Then when he said, I like you.
Yeah, because he was going to shoot her. That's why Thanos was like, oh, shit, I like you. I like you, man. You got balls.
You got balls.
You know what I'm saying? He said, you got balls. I like you. At first, he wasn't liking him. He's like, oh, you ain't got it. He's like, this is who you like? This is the boyfriend? Like, he ain't got what it takes. But when he saw that he pulled the trigger, he was like, yo, you know what? I like you. I like your ass and whatnot.
But the Guardians of the Galaxy are all made of a tragic team.
Yeah. They are.
True, yeah.
Now, the thing is, though, Nebula, let's get into Nebula, man. The way he was torturing Nebula to get the information from Gamora, bro.
Oh, yeah, that was insane.
That's horrible.
That was so effed up. And even before we get to that scene, we see Gamora as a little girl, right? When Thanos meets her for the first time, you know, and then they separate, you know, both the people, one side, and one side is the other set of people. And then he has Gamora and he shows her like this little blade where she's balancing it on her finger. He's like, put it, like, balance it. It's equally balanced, so on and so forth. And the minute they shoot the people on the left-hand side, which unfortunately her mother was on the left-hand side, he doesn't let Gamora look. He put her face away from the people that were getting killed.
Right.
And in that essence, like, Gamora, like, resented and hated his ass since that very day. All right, because if you think about it, the very ending sequence when Thanos actually goes into the Soul Stone and he sees little Gamora again, that's when Gamora had all that hate and stuff for him, but that's the way he remembers her, as that innocent child that was on that planet on Hubera.
Right.
Which is kind of sad to a certain degree, but we see the stuff with Nebula, though, man. What do you guys think about the stuff that happened with Nebula, man? Well, does this show how twisted Thanos is?
It shows that he'll get any to get the information that he needs in order to fulfill the destiny that he feels is right, you know. And this whole time, like, Thanos has always been this, like, you know, evil, you know, space being, this, like, really just a real bad guy, you know. And in the movie, he's more of a he feels like he's doing something right. What he's doing,
you kind of biting a little bit.
God damn it.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out, though. But I like what you're saying, though.
Yeah, it was like, I'm hearing it was like, man, it's getting good, and all of a sudden it kind of cuts. I like, man, it's getting chopped up, but man, hey, how right back in there? Say something.
Is it still choppy?
Nah, it sounds like you're good right now.
Yeah, try to talk for a minute, see if it works. If not, then just hop out and then hop back in. If it continues.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, Thanos has been more of a, you know, like I said in the comics, of an evil being that just, you know, wants to destroy everything. Here, he has more of a moral compass in terms of just being, what he thinks is what he's doing is the correct way of doing.
And I can't say he's wrong.
Yeah, and you really can't, because of the fact that he wants to save the galaxy. He wants to save the universe.
Yeah.
By, you know, doing what he feels is the right thing to do, and that's to destroy half of what everything that exists, you know, everything that exists. And
he even tells Gamora. He even tells Gamora that, because he tells Gamora in one part, he said, "You remember your planet?" He's like, now that all the children, they have their bellies full.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's become a paradise.
And that's
and I really think that's what he was at the end of the movie.
Yeah. And that's the thing with the Nebula scene. It really showed that, you know, he was going to go to any length to get what he feels is his destiny to be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was a brutal scene, you know, watching her being, you know, kind of just like in pieces, almost like a puzzle, or like that movie The Cell. I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Cell, but like when they cut the horse in like those different pieces, like that's what it kind of looked like. And it was just like, you know, except for all the blood and all that stuff, because, you know, this is Disney, this is Marvel, you know, they can't have all that stuff. They just, you know, it was just like, wow, you know, he's gonna definitely try to get the information that he can, and he knew he would get that information because of the fact that Gamora, the love that she has for her sister, even though they've kind of had their differences, and Nebula's tried to kill Gamora in the past and things like that. I think, you know, there's still that sister love, you know, there's still that bond between them. So I think, you know, her saying that, and then Thanos trying to get whatever he can out of Gamora was just like, okay, I'll give you what you want, you know, basically not knowing that giving her what he wants ultimately turns into her doom, basically.
Exactly. And that's another thing. That's another untold story. All right. Because he alluded to Nebula. Oh, she made it all the way into my throne room and she nearly killed me. I was like, okay. I was like, I would like to see that story. How, you know, how Nebula actually went about doing all this in order to get onto Thanos' ship, in order to almost killing him. All right, but I guess that'll be an untold story somewhere down the line, whether it's a film, a comic book, whatever. I don't know.
We'll do a little anime about a little quick 30-minute anime.
But it will be exciting to see, definitely, if they come up with a good story for it on how she did that. But yeah, it does lead to the next thing as far as the Soul Stone, and like you said, that ends up being Gamora's downfall because they end up meeting the Red Skull. Yeah, without her knowing, they end up meeting the Red Skull and whatnot. And the Red Skull basically tells Thanos that the only way to get the Soul Stone is by sacrificing the thing that you love most in this universe.
Yeah.
All right. And then right there, you know, right there, Gamora starts laughing like, oh, you're screwed. All this time. You're screwed all this time and whatnot. And you don't love anything. And then when he turns around and she sees him crying, she's like, oh, now, really? Really? And she's thinking he's crying because he's not going to be able to fulfill his destiny. And then the Red Skull, that's when the Red Skull points out, he's like, the tears aren't for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's when it dawns on Gamora. That Gamora's like, what?
Yeah, that was a really powerful scene because, you know, Thanos is, like you said, you know, he turns around and he's just like crying. And she's just like, you know, like, quit being, you know, quit acting like you're gonna get something out of this. And it's just like, he, you know, Red Skull's just like, he's not crying, that's not for him, you know. It's just like, oh crap, you know. That's when we realize that, like, Thanos is not really as bad of a guy as they kind of portray him to be.
No, they portrayed him.
He has the capability of actually loving stuff. He feels like what he's doing is the right thing to do. So
exactly, and the thing is though that they actually, before we get to the scene in the movie, we already knew as an audience how much love he had for Gamora. As a child, he turned her face away from seeing her people getting killed. He turned her face away. The way he's always treated Gamora compared to all his other children. All right. And even the part in the throne room when Gamora takes the plate of food and throws it at the throne. And then Thanos actually says, like, oh, I always hoped that one day you would actually take the throne. So he was even going to give the throne to Gamora. All right. That it's going over Gamora's head because Gamora doesn't really want to hear it. All right. Until they get to that pivotal scene when they're about to get the Soul Stone. And then the thing that broke my heart was like she tries to kill herself first. Obviously, he makes it a bunch of bubbles too, like Peter Quill's gun. And then he grabs her by the arm, and then it goes slow-mo as he's dragging her, and she's beating on his arm. And then he just flings her off the cliff.
I was just like, no!
Yeah. Man, I just had to relive that scene for a second. Like, man, that was devastating. Because I think that really hit me, man.
Yeah, man. Everybody in the audience was like up in tears, man. Like, what the hell? This dude just threw Gamora off the cliff. and then you hear it like smack.
This whole movie up to that point has been kind of emotional, you know, with Loki dying, and then Idris Elba's character, I keep forgetting his name, Heimdall.
Yeah.
You know, him dying, you know, things like that. It's just like, oh man, you know, there's so many deaths like coming our way, and then we get one more, you know, with Gamora, and it's just like, really, like, oh my god, like that was just like, people were just like, what is going on? And it kind of opens up to, you know, to
anybody can get it.
That anybody can die. Yeah, anybody can die at any moment in this Marvel Cinematic Universe. That, you know, who knows who's going to be next.
Hey, yeah, and the lead up to this film, everybody was thinking, "Oh, there's going to be some deaths, but they're going to kill off minor characters. They're not going to kill anybody major, right?"
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So when we saw Heimdall, we was like, "Oh yeah, he's a minor character, though. It's okay." Then they snapped Loki's neck. You're like, "Wait a minute, hold on."
Oh,
which is why I think they made him the first one to die.
I really never felt like Heimdall was like an extra character. Me myself.
No. He was a little bit more of a major player, especially in Ragnarok. I mean, you know, the movie hinged on the stuff that he did in Ragnarok.
Was like really limited. That's more what.
Yeah, but you know, when they killed Heimdall, though, to me, the stakes weren't that high until he went and picked up Loki.
At the same time, I think they had to, because that guy is playing two different characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, like they, you know. I know how a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're just gonna kill off B characters," and I was just like, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna have the balls to take out characters that people love, you know. And Gamora's a fan favorite, and so is Loki, and Heimdall. You know, he became a really big fan favorite with Ragnarok. You know, people, you know, love seeing him.
It was like the knife got deeper and deeper, and the more
it was just like more and more the movie went on. It was just like, oh gosh, another one, you know, like, it was just like, oh man, another person who's dying. And it's just like, you know, and up to that point, you know, it's just like, wow, okay, I see where they're going with this. They're not playing around, you know, with the cinematic universe, which is good, because I mean, you know, in the comics, a lot of the characters in the comics die, but of course, you know, they come back because, you know, it's comics. That's just how they do it. But you know, they die, and they, you know, the comics don't come back for a while, though, you know, like maybe 1 or 2 years or something like that. But you know, they do eventually, you know, kill off their characters, which I'm glad that the cinematic universe took that leap and that step to do that.
Yep. And after that scene, we get to that pivotal role, or that pivotal scene and whatnot, where they're talking about Vision.
Yep.
And Vision is like, "Oh, yeah, y'all need to take me out. You know what I'm saying? In order to protect, you know, humanity and whatnot, y'all need to destroy me." And obviously that ain't sit well with Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is like, "No, what do you mean?" It's like, there's got to be another way. And, you know, then even Captain America is disagreeing with Vision. He's like, "No, you can't do this." You know, and then Vision was like, "No, but we need to do it." And he's like, "You sacrifice yourself to save how many millions of people back in World War II?" You know what I'm saying? So, you know, right there, it lets you know that it's about lives. Lives matter, right? No matter what. And then from there, you know, there was like, how could we get the Soul Stone out? Or not the Soul Stone, but the Mind Gem. And that's when Captain America says, "Oh, I know a guy," right? Or "I know someone." And right there, you hear the music. You hear the drums. And we go to Wakanda. All right, where the audience freaking lost their minds. All right, the audience lost their minds when they saw Wakanda, and they alluded to, after they show, you know, him and Okoye and whatnot talking, that they go to get the White Wolf. Right, something that Bloody said wasn't gonna happen. All right, but I knew it was the White Wolf. It's Bucky. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So they go to the White Wolf and they bring him his new arm. Something that I alluded to in the previous podcast. I was like, dude, he's gonna have a brand new Wakandan vibranium arm. Yep. He's ready. He's gonna be all pimped out. How did you guys feel when the Wakanda scene came on?
I felt like it was. I felt like it came at the perfect moment, and they couldn't have done it probably any better than that. I mean, they took that part with Vision and were just like, well, we got to find somebody who can, because they asked Banner, can you do it? And Banner's like, no. And then somebody, I forgot who said it, but somebody said, I think it was Cap who said, I know somebody who can. And it was just like they went into Wakanda, and it was just like perfect because, well, as we know from Wakanda, it's a very magical place, and things have happened there that are basically miracles that have happened in Wakanda. So, it was just a perfect timing for them to put in Wakanda at that moment.
Yeah. And the thing is that just before we get to Wakanda, though, that's when they talk to Banner about separating the Vision from the Mind Stone. Because he's like, oh, he's equal parts Tony Stark, equal parts me, equal parts Ultron, which is the Easter egg, people, and equal parts Jarvis, all right, as well as the Mind Stone. Right. All right. So if he's like, if you eliminate the Mind Stone, there's still a lot of Vision left.
Yeah.
But the reason I say Ultron, because Ultron in one of the comic books actually came out of freaking Vision's body. So I'm thinking that's the Easter egg that they're saving somewhere down the line where Ultron comes back. All right, but we're not going to get into all that right now, though.
Hey,
but most of the stuff
Ultron don't do it like how they did the last Ultron.
I think it's going to be some real serious stakes, yo. I think they knew where they went with that comedic aspect, because they started off great. The introduction of Ultron was phenomenal, but then he became a comic book cartoon after the fact.
Right.
But it was still all right. I still like the movie for what it was and whatnot. It was really good. But we find out that once we get to Wakanda, Shuri basically tells Tony, Banner, like, oh, why ain't you guys just do this? We work all the things and whatnot and do it this way. And Banner was like, because we didn't think about it.
Well, that was the moment that Banner realized that she was smarter than he was.
Yeah, exactly.
If they had, that's the thing. They didn't have Tony at that moment, and in the Marvel universe, Tony is the smartest guy. Period. In the Marvel universe, like, he is the smartest dude. So, like, he probably would have been able to figure it out, but they needed somebody who
technically that's not true. Reed Richards is smarter than Tony Stark.
Yeah, but he's not in the MCU yet.
Right, he's not in the MCU as of yet. But of course, Disney owns Fox now, so I mean,
yeah, and there's a Fantastic Four movie in the works.
So, and I'm pretty sure this one's going to be probably good too. This Fantastic Four, if they do it, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But, we can argue about a lot of people that's smarter than Tony Stark as far as Marvel comics.
Well, I don't think Tony's actually smarter than the Shuri that we have in the MCU. Because let's be honest, Shuri wasn't this smart in the comic books.
All right.
Hey, did she do the bleeding
in the comic books? Yes, she did the bleeding edge technology in the movie, but in the comic book, he did it himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so definitely a lot of things and whatnot that we need to evaluate. But it was actually a trip though. That whole scene with Wakanda. You ain't give me your thoughts, Chuck.
Man,
what did you think about the whole Wakanda scene? And you, Savage, when Wakanda finally came on the scene?
And you gotta think about it. When Wakanda came, see, my whole thing was I liked the introduction they did with Wakanda and how they were saying, when they came into the place and who that was that never been to Wakanda. I think that was Banner that was with them, and he seemed like he got it covered up when they went into the.
No, that was Falcon.
Oh, that's what that was. Falcon.
That was Falcon when it was like, I hope. No, remember Falcon was jumping ahead.
You guys are jumping ahead though, because this is like when they're talking about the. Oh no, we did jump ahead to that scene. So we did skip one scene. We skipped the one scene with Rhodey.
What scene with Rhodey?
Where he's talking to General
when he was talking to the Thunderbolt Ross.
All right, he was talking to General Thunderbolt Ross. And actually, that first scene when we get to Wakanda, they show T'Challa go to get the White Wolf, and they give him his arm and whatnot. And then from there, they jump over to Thunderbolt Ross and Rhodey. And then Rhodey's talking about where Vision is. That's when Captain America walks in with the Falcon and
Black
Widow and
Vision.
Yeah,
Vision and Scarlet Witch.
All
right, and then he was like, arrest them. And Captain America's like, we're gonna do whatever we want to do. We don't need your help. Earth's greatest defender is basically kicked the bucket.
Your greatest defender is missing, so we here to fight.
Yep.
So if you don't want to let us fight, we'll fight you.
Exactly. We'll fight you. And then he was like, "Oh, arrest him." And then he was like, "I'm on that." And then he just threw the screen to the side. He's like, "I'm about to get court-martialed."
That's a court-martial.
Yeah. And then from right there, we get the introduction with Bruce Banner. That Bruce Banner comes out the back, and then you see Scarlet Witch. She's like, "Oh, hello." You know what I'm saying? And then right there is where you see Falcon. Like, this is awkward.
Yeah,
Black Widow. She's like, this is awkward.
Yeah, it's just like, because she hasn't seen Banner since freaking
Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
Age of Ultron. That was the last time she saw him 2 years ago. All right, and they never actually got to fully touch on their feelings and whatnot for one another, which we actually really didn't see anything else on this movie as well. Just that awkward scene.
Which honestly, I'm glad that they didn't do that, because I think that whole kind of like
it would have taken away from the movie.
Yeah, it just would have. It would have been like, really, like, why are you guys doing this right now?
I'm just.
It's like they learned where they could touch up on things, but keep the story going. All right. So we touched up on that scene, as far as their relationship and whatnot. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then from there is where we go back to Wakanda. Then we find out the stuff with Shuri and how they need to rework everything. And then we go back to Titan.
But but this was something I was trying to explain to Chuck, because he didn't really get it. Remember when she was explaining to them why they didn't do it that certain way? And they was basically saying, we just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
The whole reason why she brought that up, because if they did it the way she was talking about, it wouldn't have took so long to take that stone out.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
She could have just taken the whole stone out. So she basically
could have just taken the stone out with one section. Because what she said, it had millions of connections, thousands of connections or something
trillions,
like that.
Actually, she said.
Yeah, trillions of connections, and it only had to be one.
Yep.
Damn. Yeah, I mean
that's how smart she is. She's on a whole nother level, because think about how advanced their technology is in Wakanda. And it's a good thing we had the Black Panther movie earlier in the year, because everybody already knew who Shuri was, who Okoye was. You know what I'm saying? So they knew Shuri could do this shit. The minute she said it, everybody was like, well, of course she could do that.
Because even if you paid attention, Tony Stark was about to tell him about his armor. Remember when he blasted that dude and he was like, I got this the new bleeding edge technology, and it's nanotech, and I got it from, and they clubbed the hell out of him, so he never got it out of his mouth where he got it from. He was about to tell him he got it from Wakanda.
Wow, that's a trip.
But yeah, I ain't was we realized that, but yeah, but when she was talking about all they need was that one switch, to me it seemed like a little bit more forced than natural. Like, it just like, we know I guess probably because everybody know that she's smarter than them. She could have just said, "Oh, I'm gonna just take this and switch it like this here," or something like that. But the way they did,
but at the same time,
a little too arrogant or some shit.
It wasn't arrogant. It's more like a scientific method. Like, you have to think. In that part, is one scientist talking to another room full of scientists. So they're gonna speak like scientists, not regular people. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's understandable.
Yeah, definitely, man. Now, what is an Avengers movie without heroes actually fighting each other, right? Yeah.
Right.
And that's where we get to Titan. And we end up having Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, and Spiderman, after they already had gotten rid of Ebony Maw. They land on Titan, and Spidey is letting them know that they're about to get attacked, because obviously Spider-Man, his spider sense works in this movie. Right? So he's letting them know we're about to be attacked, but I don't want no aliens putting eggs in me or whatever. And then they get attacked by the Guardians of the Galaxy. Right? So they both basically fighting each other. What were your thoughts on that, guys?
Well,
I couldn't stop laughing.
Man, it was
Yeah,
a cool ass standoff. When you look at where the Guardians was standing there trying to creep like they was the bad people and they was trying to figure out who each other was, and they kept trying to say like, but it came down to who was Thanos, and everybody I mean, it was the comical part, but it kind of was corky.
It was hilarious, bro.
That
It
was
was
funny.
hilarious.
That was funny.
I even like the scene where it was like, Peter's like, "Where's Gamora?" And then right there, Tony Stark was like,
"Who is Gamora?
Who is Gamora?" And then freaking Drax is like, "No, better yet, why is Gamora?"
Yeah.
No, when who that was that asked Peter, "Who do you serve?" And he said, "What am I supposed to say?"
Iron Man asked him that shit.
Yeah, he's like, "What am I supposed to say? Jesus?" So you from Earth?
He was like, "Yeah, from Missouri."
Then you're like, he said, "Some movie, is that still the greatest movie in the world?" And Spider-Man hit him with it. Never was.
Yeah.
That's funny. He's talking about Footloose. He's like, is that still the greatest movie in the world? It never was.
Which is true. It just explains the era that he's from. But I also thought it was funny on what Peter said, that he was like, that 50% of me that's human, that's 100% of you that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? And then Tony was like, "I don't understand your number equations there, but I think they're off." But Peter's right to a certain degree because he knows how to fight Thanos. The Guardians have had, run-ins with dudes that are like stupid OP, from Roman the Accuser to the people they fought in the last movie.
Just think about this. Ronan the Accuser worked for Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Gamora, trained, raised by Thanos.
Yep.
Drax, whole planet, wife, daughter, even him, killed by Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So only two.
Nebula ties in with Thanos as well. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
But she's not an actual Guardian, you know what I'm saying?
Unofficial member.
Right.
But
I think she's gonna be. I'm thinking like in the next movie she's gonna end up being one.
Yeah, but Rocket Raccoon and with Star-Lord, they don't have no real dealings backstory with Thanos like that. But by them a part of the crew,
it's the whole
understanding.
All right, Star-Lord, Rocket is really hard to explain. He just a pissed off.
Well, I mean, he was put together by this race, some scientists and whatnot. Like the way he explained in the first Guardians movie, they kept taking them apart and putting them back together over and over again. So basically, he's a cybernetic organism, right? He's a cyborg, kind of like Gamora and Nebula.
But Star-Lord, even though you saying he might not have a big past with Thanos, now he has a blood vendetta with Thanos. He killed Gamora. He was in love with her.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that ties into the movie much later on. But we actually go to another scene though. Nidavellir, right? The place where Thor and Rocket went to with Groot.
Right.
Right. And they meet up with Eitri. What did you guys think when y'all saw
they meet up with Tyrion Lannister?
Chuck, what was the first thing I said when I saw this man? Before I even realized that he was a tall ass dwarf.
Man, that was crazy.
That's my favorite character from
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Did you? Everybody was just like Game of Thrones. I heard people in the theater saying Game of Thrones. I'm like, yes.
That was epic, though, man. They made him a giant dwarf. My daughter was tripping on the irony. She's like, it was just so ironic. It's like the dwarf is actually the biggest dude in the movie. I was like, oh, that's epic.
But that's the thing.
But what?
That whole scene with him in where they were, it was just like It's just like Thanos wiped out his entire race except for him.
Yes.
What reason was that for? And we don't really know for sure why that reason was, but it was all.
They were all master craftsmen.
Yep.
And basically, he just
They
needed one
could
master craft.
They could not just think about
he
this.
crushed this guy's hands. He let him live because
he let him live, but he took his hands.
He took his hands. Yep.
Because somebody could easily build something. One of them could easily build something to break that Infinity gun because they built it.
True.
So I'm not gonna let these people live that could eventually destroy me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. But Thor told him. Thor's like, all that knowledge is in your head.
In your head, you don't need your hands.
Exactly. All right. That's when Thor decides to, get that star working.
Yeah,
he for that star working and whatnot.
No, he wants him to make a Stormbreaker. When he spun Rocket, Rocket was like, "What you gonna do out in space? What you gonna do out in space?
Yo,
it's just you,
crazy.
Space and his pod. What you gonna do?" And he just spin them like he spin that pod like it was Mjolnir.
Yep. Oh yeah. Then when he tossed it, and then he was like, "Turn on the burners and whatnot." Then Rocket turned the ship's engines on. Then just started grabbing the side of the. Well, he was holding on to that rope thing or that.
He was holding on to the rope, but digging into the side of the thing with his feet. I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
This Thor. Exactly. This the Thor I want to see.
Mm-hmm. And then after they got that star working and whatnot, right? That's when we get into the final third act.
Wait.
Everything is popping off, right? We got dudes on Nidavellir creating that hammer.
You forgot it? Yeah.
Yeah, we got the thing on Nidavellir going off, creating a hammer. We got the stuff on Titan with the Guardians, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Peter Parker. And then we also got the stuff that's about to go down in Wakanda, right?
Well, that's the thing.
I want to talk about how the reason why Groot was able to make a handle for Stormbreaker.
Well, that's because Groot is basically, I think it was, I read something about that where it was because Groot was, their people have been like his race of trees or alien basically have been helping as guardians for so many thousands of years or something like that, and Groot has the ability of like his tree
his whole race are deities of nature.
Yeah, deities of nature, and basically he can create, his tree, his arms are strong enough to basically hold a hammer like Stormbreaker, which is like, he's basically like bamboo, like you can't break it basically.
And Groot's race fall into that Asgardian legend of the I might say this wrong, but Yggdrasil, the giant tree.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so they come from the giant tree. Yeah. I see that part. I did know.
Yeah, they actually talk on that tree in the first Captain America movie, the first Avenger, when the Red Skull goes up to that symbol of Yggdrasil on the wall.
Yeah. That's the beauty of like this movie. It kind of ties in with all the other movies that have come before it. And it just kind of like, if you go back and watch some of the older movies, you're like, oh shoot, like
that's where this came from. That's where that came from. Yeah.
It's like everything ties in, and then even in the first Thor movie, when he explains to Jane Foster the world's tree, the way it works, and the way it attaches to each of the 9 realms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He draws it on a piece of paper for her to make her better understand what he's talking about.
And that's why Thor was able to take a class to learn Groot's language. Basically, is because Groot is basically he's not really a god. He's just like a deity, basically. Like
a deity that. And there's another place other than Valhalla that's like where all the gods meet, and that's where like basically Groot's people are. They're not gods, but that's what
I kind of see Groot's people like the Ents from the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah,
but they basically more powerful than them.
Well, that's the thing. Definitely. The Lord of the Rings takes a lot from Norse mythology. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's from Norse mythology in the Lord of the Rings. So kind of just makes sense that they would do that.
And so we get to that. Of course, we see that Groot actually. But anyway, before we get into like Groot creating the hammer and all that, right? We get to that big confrontation on Titan. Right?
You mean the best action scene ever in a movie? Like, there
was another one that almost eclipsed it in my book later on, which actually happened in Wakanda. But
how much
we have the big smackdown on Titan where, Tony Stark is giving his plan. Right? This is what we're coming at, Chuck. And then, right there is like Peter Quill is like, nah, your plan sucks. All right, we're gonna do it like this. You know what I'm saying? Because then it'll work. That the Guardians weren't even listening to Tony Stark because they was like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, we don't listen to Peter.
So then, once Peter tells them their plan, they go and they attack Thanos. Now, let's start with everybody else on the panel. Tell me, what did you guys think about that whole confrontation?
Well, that whole confrontation was just like, it was perfect because you get to see a lot of moves that Spider-Man hasn't been able to do in the cinematic universe.
Magic through a portal, magic with a kick, magic with a...
yeah. You see a lot of stuff that Doctor Strange is capable of doing. You get to see a lot of stuff that even Tony Stark is able to really accomplish when he's in his Iron Man suit. I mean, it was just like, and then that whole scene of just him throwing that moon at freaking Iron Man.
Planet.
Was just like that whole planet, just like throwing it at him. Like Thanos, we see how powerful Thanos really is with his,
and that he was like, he threw a whole moon at me.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like, this whole fight scene was just like, it really it got really like deep into what these characters are capable of, and I really enjoyed that.
No,
dude, it was like the ultimate Avengers team up, though. They were striking at Thanos with so many different angles. It was ridiculous because you had Drax attacking Thanos from one side, you had Doctor Strange attacking Thanos from the one side. Then Thanos went and pushed Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange blew back. He freaking put up a shield in front of him. It smacked the shield. Then he threw discs behind Thanos, so like Peter Quill could start jumping on the discs. He puts an explosive on Thanos' back, flips backwards, and gives him the finger as he jumps through a portal. I was like, wow, this was just like on some crazy shit, man. And it was all Peter. You know what I'm saying? And then Spider-Man comes from one side, and they fucking tether him with the webbing. Then you got Drax holding him from one arm. It's like everybody was like doing their thing. All right,
and then even Mantis doing her thing later on, where
again, thanks to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange created a portal right above Thanos' head, and Mantis landed right on his head.
Yeah,
in order to put him to sleep.
I would have shot Drax at that moment right there. I'd have killed him.
Why?
His stupidity. Not Drax. Peter Quill.
Yeah, Quill.
Well, I mean, we're about to get into that right now. We're about to get into that. That's why I just started saying that. So they have Thanos tethered. He's basically half asleep, but he's in anguish. She feels he's in anguish, right? And just before that, Nebula had popped on the scene, right? Nebula smashed the ship right into freaking Thanos and whatnot. And then she came up. She started putting hands on Thanos. That's when everybody went and tethered his ass, held him down. And then
try to get
that's when Peter Quill. Yeah, then you got Tony Stark and Peter trying to take the gauntlet off. They're pulling the gauntlet. And then that's when Peter starts asking him about, where's Gamora? Where's Gamora? And then that's when Mantis is like, oh, he's in anguish. He's mourning, right? And then Nebula was like, wow, he left with Gamora, but he came back by himself. That's when Peter is about to lose it. And who's the first person to notice? Tony Stark. Because the same shit happened to him in Civil War. All right? He lost it when he found out that Winter Soldier had to do with his parents' death, even though he was being mind controlled. All right? So he was like, no, Peter, chill, Peter, chill, Peter. And of course, Peter loses it, smacks the shit out of them. But we actually jumped one scene, though. We jumped the scene where Doctor Strange, just before the fight, he started going crazy with his head and all this shit. And everybody's like, yo, what's your man doing? What's he doing? And then he tells them, he's like, oh, I was looking into the future to see if there was a possibility of us winning. And Tony Stark asks him, so what did you see? He's like, I saw 14,605 possibilities. He's like, how many did we win in? He was like, one.
I was just like, damn. I was like, okay, if they're only going to win in one, then I'm guessing that's the one that we're going to see. You know,
exactly.
I mean, that's inevitable. Like, we're going to see that here in this movie. You know, part of it, you know, not all of it, but of course part of it.
Yeah, no, we're actually going to see that one reality. The one that they actually won in. All right, so that's what leads to what's going to happen later on in the movie, because then we got the stuff popping off with Peter, right? Yep. So obviously Peter's beating the crap out of Thanos, hits Mantis. Mantis's hands comes off Thanos. Peter almost has the glove off. Tony stops what he's doing in order to try to stop Peter and hold Peter back. Peter almost has the glove off, all right, because it's just coming off his fingers. Yeah. And then right there is when Mantis let go, and right there Thanos regains his thing, smacks everybody away. And it's all Star-Lord's fault.
And that's the thing. Like you could say that it is Star-Lord's fault, but you know, if you were in that situation where you loved somebody like almost so much that you can't see past anything else, you know, would you have done the same thing? Probably,
of course.
You know, like you would,
of course,
have done the same.
Tony
thing,
even did the same thing. That's why he tried to stop Peter.
Right, exactly.
He told Peter, "He's like, yo, just relax. We almost got the arm. Just relax." But Peter's not hearing that. He's the only thing he's hearing is that this dude killed Gamora.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why this movie is so like all the way up to this point has been emotional throughout, and then this point even gets more emotional, and then of course like after this it gets even more emotional, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, up to that point it's been very like a roller coaster, you know, up and down. Like, you know, there's been really good high points, you know, with the action and the you know, the craziness that's been going on and the story that we've been learning and stuff, and then we get the low points where it's like people are dying, or you know, people are finding out about other people dying, or you know, things like that. And it was just like, you know, this moment where Peter, you know, Quill is at that point of just like, I'm gonna fucking rip this dude's head off. You know, you really feel his emotions there. You really feel his way of thinking at that moment, because you're like, I would have probably done the same thing if it was somebody that I really loved or really cared about. So it was just like, you know, they really portrayed that very well.
Yeah, I thought so too. And the thing is that after Thanos regains the glove, he basically takes out Peter, Mantis, and Drax with one shot. Ba-bow. Yeah. They out the equation. All right. And then you have Doctor Strange, going into OP mode. Dude, I mean, man, it just looks so epic.
I know on the old podcast, I was like, I wanted to see more out of Doctor Strange, and this Doctor Strange in this movie is exactly the type of Doctor Strange I was looking for.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I thought that every magic user I've ever seen on film before, yo, they pale in comparison to what Doctor Strange pulled off in the scene right here, man. I mean, he tethered Doctor Strange. He tethered Thanos with a whole bunch of cables. Thanos broke all that shit, launched some shit at Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange put up some type of shield, reflected that shit back at him. He threw some other shit at Doctor Strange. He made them shits turn into butterflies. then he went and freaking did what was it, the Kama Sutra, right? With a whole bunch of hands come out all of a sudden and whatnot. I was like, what the hell, the Dalai Lama? And then freaking he morphs into a whole bunch of Doctor Strange. They all tether him with the whips and whatnot from the movies, and I was like, wow, this is like on some epic shit. And then Thanos went and broke it all and pulled Doctor Strange all the way to him and grabbed him. He's like, he altered reality. He was using the stones then. He just like, man, come here. And then he just grabbed him.
And then that's when he took the time stone from Doctor Strange. Well,
no, just before that.
No, before.
He didn't take it.
Before that, he didn't take it. At that moment, he didn't quite take it, because that's when Tony Stark comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll let you guys go into detail what happened with Tony Stark, man, because I know the audience when I was watching it, there was this. My daughter said in her theater, there was this one dude that screamed out like, "No!"
Yeah, I mean,
because of the scene that happened directly after this.
That scene right there, it was like we were seeing Tony Stark at his almost his death point,
at his finest, like his finest,
at his finest, but at the point of like, there's no, it almost as if they played it off as like he's not going to survive this fight right now, because of the simple fact that like Thanos was just taking off all his Iron Man armor and he was just getting beaten down.
It was a smackdown brawl, man, and he even made Thanos bleed. After all the things that he did to him, and Thanos went and touched the blood. He's like, all that.
All left with a drop of blood.
Yeah.
And then that's when he just like was destroying Tony. Then Tony tried to come up with some type of spear out of his hand. He tries to stab Thanos. Thanos breaks the spear and stabs Tony right in the gut.
Man, Tony was looking like
that's when the audience was losing it. What?
Now I was saying Tony was looking like Blue Beetle out there.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you notice, like his bleeding edge armor was tethering itself to the ground, so like that he could hit Thanos even harder.
Right.
Right. His armor was doing certain things that I was like, wow, that nanotechnology is no freaking joke.
But
Thanos basically beat him to a pulp, man, and stabbed him with his own shit.
Yeah. Then when Thanos got a punch in his ass, you could see the nanotech just steady coming back, and then one time he just hit him one too many times. The nanotech was just over. He couldn't cover his face no more.
Yep.
He was
his nanotech wasn't even working right.
Yeah, he was like one shot away from getting just dead. And that's when Dr. Strange.
Yeah, he was bleeding out his mouth and everything. Everybody knew Tony was on his last leg at that moment.
Yeah.
And that's when Doctor Strange.
I thought for sure he was dead.
Doctor Strange is like, no. He's like, I'll give you the stone. Don't kill him.
Hey, but didn't have you on your edge of your seat because you felt like Tony Stark was about to die, because the way Thanos was killing people on this movie, when a person you think was about to die, you be on your edge and see like, ooh, is he gonna survive? Is he gonna die? It really, most time you like, oh, he getting beat up, but he gonna survive. This time here, you didn't know what was gonna happen with him. So that made it more intense, because anybody could have died.
The movie was about lives matter and also sacrificing yourself for the greater good.
Right.
Because remember, at the beginning of the movie, Doctor Strange said, if it came between you and the boy, I'm not going to save you guys. I'm going to save the gem. But then, at that moment.
But then that realized like that wasn't the path that was going to help them basically win, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be.
I think when he looked into the future, he realized he had to give him that gem.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. That was the possibility.
Yeah, man, getting the gym,
and that was the only way they can win.
And Iron Man probably would have wanted to save him.
And if you notice, when he pulled the gem, he actually pulled it from a star. It was a star that was in the background. Yep. When he put up his two fingers, and that star became the gem. And then he gives over the gem, and then Tony looks at him. And he's like, "Why? Why did you do that?" No, I'm saying, but no, even before Tony said that, that's when Star-Lord comes back after Spidey tried to save them all. He's like, oh, I don't even know your names or whatever. But Star-Lord comes back. He goes to attack Thanos, but Thanos leaves because he already has the time stone. And then right there, that's when Tony tells Doctor Strange, like, why? And Doctor Strange is like, we're in the end game.
Yep.
Basically alluding to that one possibility that they actually won in. All right. And then we end up going to Wakanda. After that scene where they're about to get attacked. All right. I mean, at first they freaking went and attacked the Wakanda itself. Well, the minute they realized that they couldn't get through that dome, they was like, all right, let's land the craft outside the dome. All right. Because if not, we're going to keep smashing all our craft on that.
And it was just funny how that dome instantly fried a whole ship.
Oh, yeah, dude. That shit blew up into pieces, man. That shit wasn't going nowhere. All right. And then that's when they decide to like divide the forces, right? Because Shuri is trying to get the mind gem off of Vision. So they need Wanda Maximoff there. They need the Scarlet Witch there because she's the only one that could destroy the stone once they get it off of Vision's head. All right. She's the only one that could destroy the stone. So she's there for a reason. All right. Meanwhile, you got Proxima Midnight and the big dude, right? I still don't know the big dude's name. And they allude to the other person that was with them before, right? He's like, oh, this dude is dead, this, and that. She's like, oh, you'll pay for that. So the whole time we're thinking the other dude is dead, Corvus Glaive. We don't know the shit that's going to pop off later on in the movie.
Right.
All right. Because we saw Corvus Glaive get stabbed. So we're assuming at this moment that the guy is dead. All right. The way they talked about it, she was like, you'll pay for that. You know what I'm saying? And then they let all their forces start attacking Wakanda. They're attacking the dome. All right. And then they're attacking the dome and they see they're trying to cut through the freaking shield. These guys are getting cut into pieces, their arms, their bodies, and torsos. I mean, it was just ridiculous, man. But it was epic, though, because it felt like some Lord of the Rings, like the Ride of the Rohirrim, when they came with the horses and all that. That's the way that those bad guys came off. I was like, damn, these guys is going crazy. Then they started to span to the sides. So that's when they started to realize, like, wow. And then that's when we start to see some of the epic scenes, too. When they start to come through the dome, we see Falcon attacking. We see the people of Wakanda attacking from a distance.
Same with War Machine when he had dropped them on that big grenade and blew everybody.
Exactly. He dropped a whole bunch of grenades and basically did an apocalypse now. All right. He basically did apocalypse now on these people. All right. As a matter of fact, he told Falcon, he's like, Falcon, I think you better get back. You don't want your wings singed. All right.
Yeah, that's what they told him.
Yeah. So then, eventually they realize since these enemies are spanning to the sides of the dome, they're like, yo, they're basically going to surround us. We have to put a stop to that. So then that's when T'Challa was like, yo, we need to open the dome. They was like, come again, my prince or my king or whatever. He's like, yes, you're going to open the dome on my mark, certain sector. So he says a certain thing where they open the dome and then they open the front portals of the dome. That's when all the enemies come pouring in. And then, of course, we get that
that's when
battle cry.
The splash scene.
That's when we get the battle cry for Wakanda forever. Yeah. All right. And then everybody in Wakanda starts charging. There was one standout scene there, right? And everybody in the theater was cheering on this part. The ones leading the charge, fucking running in front of everybody at a mile a minute was freaking Black Panther and Captain America.
Yeah, they was at it.
Dude. They were side by side. They both jumped in the air and they started putting the smackdown.
Man, what's the forces. I can't think of the other guy name, the leader of the gorilla tribe. He was going hard.
M'Baku.
M'Baku.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff to the lead up before they even fought.
But hold on, y'all forgot to look. They had a splash scene right there. Like, all the splash scenes where they show up from a distance when they had the two teams running at each other, and they'll just show them like in a little pose. They call it like a little splash scene, like when they did with the other Captain America movies, when they had everybody at the airport and they was running at each other from a distance, and they showed it back. They call it like a splash scene, like making the old comics. You might get like the middle page where it's just like off from one side they just show like a big fight, everybody running to each other in the middle. Yeah. They always got to do a little reference right there. I mean, I just wanted to mention that about that little reference.
No. Yeah, there was a lot of epic shit going on in that fight. How did you guys feel when y'all saw that thing? That whole thing with the T'Challa and Captain America leading the charge.
That part, I was like, I was with it at that point.
No,
it was.
This was the thing. If you were watching the fight, like it had so many, it was happening so fast. Like you'll see this person over here fight. You see Cap over here hitting. Then you'll see Black Panther. Then you'll see matter of fact, bag up some a scene like when they was all charging at each other. You got damn, I can't can't think of her name, but I keep Michonne, of The Walking Dead, or her. So
Okoye.
Okoye. So they was going. Everybody was charging at each other. Okoye had looked at Bruce Banner because he had tripped and failed because he was trying to run in that hole.
She's like, no.
And she gave him a sour look on her face, like, man, that said like a million words. If you just go back whenever you watch the movie, is that one scene they pull a close up of her face, like how she looked at him with the way he tripped and fall, like, you dummy. And then like I was like, oh shit, the Hulk finna come out. And once again, I was shocked to say, what is the Hulk? Why he not coming out? You know what I'm saying? Bruce Banner still trying to get him out when they get into the fight scenes. And that's when I see.
But at least Bruce Banner had that Hulk Buster armor though.
Right, yeah. But I was seeing the Hulk started
he was
trying to change it to the Hulk into the Hulk Buster. Yeah.
But that was like the scene where it was just like we get this moment of Banner just being the badass.
Banner.
That he's just human. He's just human. He in this suit he becomes more of an awesome character.
Yeah, but
that's the thing. Like if you think about it, we didn't much of we only saw like one scene of Hulk in it, and it was just like Hulk was at that point of just like I don't know what to do. Because I got beaten by Thanos. I don't know if I should, I don't want to fight. And that was the thing. Like, they weren't even fighting Thanos at the time. He just didn't want to come out, period, because he just didn't want to fight anymore, I think. And I think he was just really on the fight with him and Thanos.
Yeah, I think it was maybe he was probably embarrassed to a certain degree because he was embarrassed in that fight.
That's definitely a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, but it couldn't have been that. Maybe he wasn't really scared. It's just the embarrassment, of what happened. Because I read, we know how Hulk could get, right. Hulk really ain't scared of nothing. But it could be the embarrassment, man. The embarrassment that he felt over being punked out by this dude. But Thanos wasn't even on the scene though, but he still didn't want to come out. Right, but everybody was representing in that fight scene like crazy, man. And it leads to the fact that that Chuck said earlier that they underutilized Scarlet Witch in this. Remember, Scarlet Witch is with Vision for the simple fact that she's the only one that could destroy the stone. So they need her there the minute Shuri separates it from Vision's head. Now, the thing is, though, that they raise the stakes, though, the enemy, right? They have these giant machines come out of nowhere, right? From underneath the shield, and it starts like destroying half the Wakandan army.
You can feel it all in your feet the way that thing come up. Then it's like laid out for Kong Lao. The way they come out,
they was destroying the Wakandan army. T'Challa was like, back up, and that's another reason why people do need to see all the previous movies, because you see, we know how T'Challa's armor works, that it redirects kinetic energy. So you were seeing these purple blasts all over the place, and they don't go into detail on how T'Challa's power sets work. They're taking it for granted that you've already seen Black Panther. Right. So you should already know how that works. That's why all these movies actually tie in. And then after that, big giant war machine comes that starts like destroying half the Wakandan army. Scarlet Witch is like, damn, I need to go down there. Right? So then Scarlet Witch leaves Vision's side and Shuri's side in order to go onto the battlefield. The minute Scarlet Witch comes on the battlefield, Proxima Midnight is like she's on the battlefield. And the one that we thought was dead, Corvus Glaive, was outside Shuri's chamber. Okay, that he comes in order to attack Vision. All right, they had it planned from the get. Separate Scarlet Witch from Vision. They was waiting the whole time just to separate her from the Vision because they know how powerful she is. Once she got on the field and she used those things, raised them up in the air, and took out a good percentage of their army with those things, that's when Okoye was like, what were you doing up there all this time? You know what I'm saying? What the hell, man? You had this much power. You was up there this whole time. But she was up there for a reason.
Right. That's when
she's the only one that could destroy the stone. And actually, she was their protection. Because the minute she left, Corvus Glaive came in. All right. And he started attacking everybody, took out the Dora Milaje that was there, smacked up Shuri. Shuri fell backwards. She got knocked out. And then he went after Vision. And then him and Vision ended up flying out the side of one of the buildings from Wakanda and whatnot and smacking down into the floor, into the forest. And of course, Falcon noticed it.
I didn't use that thing to was trying to scratch the stone out his head while he was still upstairs, or that was down after they fell out the window when he did that.
After he fell out the window.
Oh, that was after, yeah.
Yeah, he started going at him again, and they started going up in the forest and attacking each other. And then that's when we see a team up, right? Between Proxima Midnight, that she started to attack, what was it? She went and she smacked Scarlet Witch in the back of her head. And then right there, you have a little team up with Black Widow and Okoye up against Proxima Midnight.
That's when everybody was going crazy, man.
That's when it was just like going off the chain, yo. Everybody's like on the edge of their seats watching all of this. And then we actually go back to Nidavellir, where the hammer's being forged and Thor freaking opened up that star and he's getting hit by the star. And just before that, he's like, what is it? Eitri tells him, he's like, this is going to kill you. He's like, only if I die. He's like, well, that's what killing you means.
Yeah. It's like, that's not what that means.
I mean, that scene was hilarious, though. But then, they end up forging it because Thor, of course, holds it open because Thor is crazy OP. We know this. He keeps it open. And then he ends up landing onto the thing because he gets blasted out the sun's eye and whatnot. And he hits on the ship. So he's basically dying. All right. But, Eitri knows that he can make the hammer. He made the hammer, but he doesn't have a handle. That's when Groot comes into play. And Groot does what he does. You know what I'm saying? He freaking takes both sides of the handles, forms a giant thing, and cuts off part of his arm to create this handle. How epic was that scene for you guys?
Man, that was like one of the that was one of my amazing scenes because you get hit with the Marvel humor, with Thor being arrogant Thor, and then by like how you say he don't use the English language like how most people will use the English language. So sometimes he say some stuff and it just be real funny just to see him say something that kind of contradicts itself, but it just the Marvel humor in it, and then the fact of they go from a whole funny scene to him showing how strong he is, and like how you say OP. Now we go from a scene like that. I mean, it's just amazing to just see how they choreographing all this in a very short period of time because they have so much stuff that's going on. And when I seen Groot put the hammer together, it was like, okay, they actually showing Groot is more special than a lot of people actually know. So we getting a little taste of Groot, but they steady dropping the tidbits in it. So like people don't realize the hammer that Thor have, like you say, is special, and only a select few chosen people could actually hold this hammer. So imagine what Groot have to be to actually be able to hold the hammer together.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's just my thoughts about it.
Yeah, it lends to who Groot is as a character.
And how that's the whole roller coaster. You go from a happy to, almost like a sad place to almost like a cheerful, joyous moment, like, accomplishment. So it's like they putting all these emotions in you and they doing like segments of it. So you go from one segment, they do all those emotions. Another segment, they do all those emotions. Man, you got to.
So what do you think, Dark? What do you think about those scenes?
Those scenes were probably some of the best scenes in the Marvel Universe, period. Because, I mean, we get to see, a team up of characters that we've never seen before with, Black Widow and what's her name is shown from, I can't remember her name.
Okoye.
Okoye, yeah. I always forget their names because I'm like I because they're not like the main characters, I always focus on more of the mainer characters, and with them teaming up and beating up what's her name? I forgot her name too.
Proxima Midnight,
yeah. Them teaming up and just beating the crap out of her, that was awesome. And then seeing,
I like how they threw her in the death machine.
Yeah. And then seeing Thor just getting that hammer and then just being like, here we go, let's go finish this fight. He's basically,
that's another thing about the hammer that actually before they made the hammer, Ichi was like, that it's called Stormbringer.
Yeah.
And it could actually create the Bifrost Bridge.
Right.
All right, because obviously they would need to create a Bifrost.
You remember who Stormbringer's hammer was for, right?
I know, Beta Ray Bill. I know. Don't get me wrong. I know. Trust me, they're doing a lot of Easter eggs. Marvel is known for this. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the major Easter eggs there. That's one of the major Easter eggs there. So that
Bloody, that one for you.
So after Groot basically saves Thor, all right, because that's what he did. Once he put the handle on the hammer, all right, the hammer goes right into Thor's hand because we see Thor's hand. Then we see the Bifrost appear on Wakanda. And then right there lands Groot, Thor with Rocket on his shoulder. I was like, wow, cool.
That was awesome because that you see Thor just being like this awesome
god,
badass god, just seeing him come down from like the heavens, basically. Like that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They actually showed us Thor the Thunderer.
Yeah. We actually get to see Thor
the Thunderer.
His powers to the fullest. This is where we get to really see Thor.
But I still, my favorite part in that whole situation was this right here. Hey, how much for the gun? How much for the gun? The gun not for sale. Well, how much for the arm? The arm not for sale. I'm getting that arm.
The interaction between Rocket and
Winter Soldier.
But it was actually a throwback to Rocket and Groot from the first Guardians. Because Winter Soldier picked up Rocket on the floor. He's like, he picked him up, and then he started spinning while shooting with his other arm. And holding Rocket, and they both just going ham, shooting everybody on the battlefield. But before we even get into that scene, though, once Thor landed, him, Rocket, and Groot started charging at the encroaching army. And that's when Thor jumps up in the air and fucking puts the smack down and killed like about 200 motherfuckers in one shot. I was like, oh shit.
To tell you the truth, Thor really decimated that army.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. And that's where we get to see Thor being
one other thing I forgot about. Y'all know that I'm an anime fan.
Yeah.
You remember when Thanos threw that moon at them on that planet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. This I don't know. I can't say for the comic book because I can't remember if he did it in the comic book. But y'all know that I'm a big anime fan. In Naruto, that was something they did in Naruto. The main antagonist, Madara Uchiha, threw 2 or 3 moons during the Great Ninja War.
Okay.
I don't know anything about Naruto because
I'm just saying this is something that I paid attention to. Just like in the Justice League movie when the Flash did that little pose when he did the lightning and did the that came from Naruto too. That was Sasuke's thunderclap.
Yeah, I understand exactly where you're coming from as far as like the anime references and whatnot. Because, for example, which we're definitely going to get into later on and whatnot as far as power sets, but we will be touching up on that anime stuff in a little bit. I don't want to say it now because I don't want to spoil anything, really. But yeah, that's what we saw Thor representing. All these people going ham on everybody on the battlefield. The stuff with Vision, right? That right there, Falcon called it out. Oh, Vision's on the field and whatnot. Somebody needs to get to him. So the first one to get there is freaking Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster armor. Right, so he's going over there. He's fighting against that big dude from the Black Order and whatnot, and he's trying to get Hulk to come out. He's like,
Hulk came almost. He almost came all the way out though.
Almost. Yeah. He's like his face turned out. He's like, no. He's like, then he just went back. Right there. That's when Bruce Banner got pissed off. He's like, you know what? Screw you. I'm gonna do this myself. And then he put the arm on this dude blasted into the fucking dome and then just exploded into pieces. And then from there we have everybody coming down, but then that's when Thanos appears on the scene, right? When Thanos appears on the scene, they're like, "Oh, he's here." Who's the one that felt them? Was it Scarlet Witch?
Yep.
Scarlet Witch was
Yeah.
like, "He's here. He's here." And then right there, that's when they all trying to get to Vision in order to stop Vision. Meanwhile, we know Thor, Winter Soldier, Rocket, Groot freaking threw his arms into the ground, made these tree branches come up. I mean, it was just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. They tried to stop Thanos. Thanos was beating the shit out of everybody. All right, nobody could
I mean, he
freaking
was
put
doing it with
hands on
ease too.
Thanos. Yeah, he was doing it with ease. He smacked the shit out of Captain America, everybody. All right, and then Vision is telling Scarlet Witch, "You need to do it." She's like, "I can't." He's like, "You need to do it. You're the only one that can do it." So she has to destroy the stone in his head. Think about how powerful Scarlet Witch was. That she was able to hold Thanos back with one hand
Just
and
slow him
still
down.
destroy the
Yeah.
stone with the other hand.
Hey, that's why in that part right there, to me,
Mm.
I know for a fact Scarlet Witch way stronger than that, but that displayed a lot of power for me.
Yeah. Because we got to
Yeah.
remember, at this moment, he has 5 of the stones. He's only missing 1.
Right. He missing
Right. And she
five.
was
He got 5 stones, missing 1, and she holding him back.
right, and she
And
was
she,
able to slow him down enough time to actually destroy the stone in her lover's head that she don't want to do it too. So she
Yeah.
holding back because she don't want to do it, but she got to do it. So that take a lot of strength mentally and physically in both directions at the same time when she was doing it. So I mean,
Yo,
that is a lot of power. Is she was showcasing because when she
and
practiced,
the level of acting that we see, though, man, like how torn she is from doing this show. I mean, all these actors in the Marvel Universe are phenomenal actors. All of them, really, all of them.
I
All
mean,
right.
even in the comic book, Vision and Scarlet Witch got married.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and had kids
Well,
and
they
all types of
Yeah.
didn't
crazy stuff.
technically they didn't have kids. That was an illusion.
So then after that,
Yeah,
she of course destroys Vision, right? Basically killed her lover. And Thanos is like, what, tears? For nothing really. Because he goes and he uses
Yeah,
the time stone.
bring him
And he
right back.
reverses time like Doctor Strange did in the Doctor Strange movie. And then she had to see her lover come back together. And he got taken out even worse than the first time. Because at least the first time he blew up into a million pieces. Nah, she sees this dude freaking stick his fingers inside this dude's forehead and rip out the stone. Then drops them to the side like Optimus Prime died from his animated movie. He just turned gray. All right. And I was like, oh wow. So they did him like Optimus. It's like, okay.
yeah. The front of his head looked like a flat basketball.
Oh my
When
gosh. So he just like
yeah,
Thanos is OP, man. He put the stone up in there. He started feeling that energy coursing through his body. And then Stormbreaker comes flying out of nowhere, yo. You see Thor coming at him through
Straight
that
into his
hammer.
chest.
He tried to shoot at it too. He was shooting at that hammer. That hammer went through that blast and hit him in the chest. Bow. So you're like, oh shit, that Thor got into it. He's like, I told you I was gonna come back. Then he starts to push the hammer into his chest. And then right there, he was like, oh, you should have gone for the head. I
and
was like,
snapped his
what?
finger.
And then he snapped his fingers, man. I was like, no. Yo, the audience just got into dead silence because nobody knew what the fuck happened. And then you see baby Gamora or young Gamora. And he goes up to Gamora. She's like, so did you do it? Did you finally succeed? He's like, yes.
Hey, that's when they got
And then
sad
she
right
just, that's when she started tearing. And then right there, we go back to Thanos.
Well, she basically said, "Was it worth it?" And he was just like, "Yes," basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. She said, was it worth it? And then he was
Yeah.
like, yes. And that's when she starts crying.
No shades. How much did you had to sacrifice?
No.
How much you had to
Now,
lose?
how much you had to lose? You're like
He's like,
everything.
everything. Yep, exactly. He said everything. Then we go back to Thanos and Thor, and Thanos escapes at that moment. And they're not sure what actually went on until we see the Winter Soldier come onto the scene. And the Winter Soldier's like, Cap. And then he just like turns into dust right in front of Captain America. That's when we start realizing, wow, Thanos actually did it. He killed half the universe's population just by snapping his fingers, the way Gamora said at the beginning of the movie. And then we start seeing major characters die after that. I mean, it was just ridiculous. The whole audience just kept gasping. All right. And then, when they got up to Groot's scene, everybody was like, what, Groot? T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? When T'Challa went to grab Okoye's and T'Challa faded out of existence as well. You see Falcon, all these dudes fading out of existence. And then you go, War Machine, no, War Machine ain't fade out of existence. It was the Falcon. The War Machine was looking for Falcon. He was actually looking for Falcon. Then we flash to Titan, right? Oh, no, as a matter of fact, Scarlet Witch fades out of existence as well.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Then we flash to Titan. And then we see the first one from the Guardians, Mantis. And then Drax. Then Peter Quill. All right. And then right there, Doctor Strange.
Then Groot too.
Doctor Strange. Yeah, Groot. But Groot was on Earth. And then Doctor Strange. And then right there, we get to Peter. Right? Spidey. And Spidey knows
the saddest
coming
part of
because
this
he
movie.
can feel it. Yeah, because he can feel it. He's a kid. He can feel it. He has that spider sense. And he grabs Tony and he starts hugging him like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And right there, he's like, he decided to man up and whatnot. And, he went to the floor and whatnot. And Tony Stark was devastated after that. All right. After all the characters died, everybody was devastated. And the final word that freaking Captain America says is like, oh God.
I mean, you gotta look at.
Gotta look at what? Yeah.
Yeah, y'all hear me now? Or
Yeah, I hear you now.
Sound like I'm batting.
No, you good.
Oh no, what I was saying was damn, what was now you just killed my train of thought.
I killed your train of thought. Okay. All right, so Captain America said, oh God. And then after that, we go to Thanos. And he's on some planet that looks like a farm or whatever. And he's watching the sunrise, just like he said he would do after he actually succeeded.
Oh yeah, I think he actually in the Soul Gym. Y'all started saying no. I'm looking at some other stuff like they got some stuff saying that he might be inside the Soul Gym we located at.
Oh no, at the end he was on a planet. He was on a planet the way he said he was going to be. Because inside the Soul Gym we had the red backgrounds. He was on an actual planet. A flourishing planet at that.
He actually explained all that when he got finished, he was going to a planet and watch the sunrise.
Mm-hmm. And then he just smiled.
Might have been on Gamora. Might have been Gamora home planet. Because he said he fixed that location.
Yeah. That's what Savage said earlier. Yeah, that the planet he thinks that he was on was actually Gamora's home planet, Wubera.
Well, actually,
it was.
Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah.
All right, because it didn't look like Titan.
No,
not the way, because Titan had all that machinery and stuff.
Yeah, but Titan was destroyed though.
Yeah, Titan.
Yeah, but he got the Infinity Gun. He can fix it. He might not be able to bring his race back, but he can fix the planet.
Happened. We saw how destroyed the gauntlet was after he snapped his fingers. His arm was basically crispy fried.
Right, that's true too.
All right, so I don't know if that gauntlet actually works anymore.
I think that's the reason why Doctor Strange wanted him to have all the stones, because that gauntlet couldn't hold all that power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but how you gonna re-snap all these motherfuckers into existence without the gauntlet?
All right.
That's the tricky part.
Not necessarily re-snap all of them. Somebody would have to use the time stone. And also, if you remember on Eitree's planet, on the place where he forged Stormbreaker, there was another gauntlet in the background.
Right.
That had no stones in it. It was gray.
Yeah, it was the mold.
It was the mold of it.
But the mold for the hammer looked different. The mold for the hammer was this giant square where it has the mold inside for the hammer. So for the gauntlet, it would be the same way. It would be this giant square with the mold of a gauntlet. That was actually a gauntlet.
Man,
but
it
with
looked
no
like a mold
stones
to
in
me.
it.
Because it had like it looked like a rocket figure. It didn't look like no shiny gold, but hey, it might have been.
It wasn't shiny or anything, obviously, because it wasn't. But the reason I say it's not a mold because the mold itself for the hammer was this giant square that the metal poured into. So the mold for the gauntlet would be the same thing. It would be this giant square and with the mold inside of it of a glove. But this was actually a glove. You see what I'm getting at?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, yeah, that
that's the only reason.
But think about this here, Collider. You might have something like that, but that's not necessarily saying all of his molds got to be made like that. You know, the mold for the gauntlet could have been specially had to be made in the shape of the gauntlet. For the hammer, it might have had to be made like that from the break it for it to actually, you know, saying for the form the shape that it had. You know, it could be variations of different things. So it's a possibility that it's still just the mold.
Yeah, or it could be a glove. There's both actual possibilities, bro.
Right, but see, that's the good part about it.
That Ichi has the knowledge in order to create another glove.
Exactly. So if anything,
right. So how that ties in, that's the trippy part. But that's the way the movie ended, though. How did you guys feel like during that scene, though? Dark. What were your thoughts, like the way Spidey, man? What was going through your head during this moment?
I was like, no, like you know when Darth Vader did that whole no thing. I was like,
oh yeah,
that moment I knew. I was just like, they had the balls to kill off some of their characters at this moment right now, and I was just like, dang, they did it. They did it. I mean, nobody else probably would have done the same thing. They were the ones that were able to do it, and you know that was the thing. Like you started seeing people fade away, and there was people you were like, really, like you only got one movie. Like it was just like they only got one movie, or it was like all of the Guardians of the Galaxy are gone, like except for Rocket. Like everybody else is gone. And it was just like, what is going on, you know? And it was just like. It was very powerful, and then you see Doctor Strange die, and he goes, "This is the only way," and it was just like, damn, like he knew at that moment that this is that Tony Stark knew at that moment that this was this was the path, this was the one, this was the thing that Doctor Strange saw. This was the one path that Doctor Strange saw that would have them win this whole entire you know war that they're going through and stuff. It was just like, geez, man, like they definitely pulled a they definitely pulled a
head out of a rabbit.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Reversed it.
It's just like, geez, man, like it was a lot. It was a lot for just one movie, you know. It was just, it was like,
and even if they was to never come out with a sequel, dude, this movie had a beginning, middle, and an end, and the villain won.
Yeah. See, I think that's what
the villain actually won.
Hey, that's what I think was hard for people to swallow. The villain actually winning, because hey, if you look at it, I always hear from DC fanboys is this here. Oh, Marvel always play it safe. They don't never kill nobody. Nobody ever dies. The people that died resurrected. And then they always talk about like you don't never have, you know, with Marvel, it was always you felt safe around they characters. Like you know they wasn't going nowhere. They was gonna live through anything. And then with a movie like
DC characters the same way.
Yeah, but DC's never really killed off anybody in their movies, anyways. Like, like those people don't know.
All I could say is, Quicksilver is looking at you.
Yeah, I mean,
because Quicksilver never came back after he died in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's just like,
oh, that was some Marvel Fox bullshit going on with Quicksilver.
No. It wasn't. They actually filmed 2 different scenes. They could have kept them in the script. In the original filming, he was kept in. The reason they decided to eliminate him was to raise the stakes. But they filmed 2 scenes. They filmed one with him living.
Well, it
and
sure
one
as hell
without
did
him
raise
living.
the stakes. It definitely did that. They definitely accomplished that.
Because they reevaluated the movie after they filmed everything. And at first they had him living. But they was like, nah, we need to up the stakes. So then they went and they eliminated him. Which they actually ended up giving away a potential character, which kind of sucks, but oh well.
Yeah,
what can we do?
But I think it was more, see how that sounds? It sounds politically correct. But in actuality, they eliminated him because of that Fox and the bullshit that they was going back and forth with. Like,
yeah, because they put Quicksilver in the Fox movie and the Age of Ultron.
Right, and Scarlet Witch, she died in the Fox universe.
No, she didn't.
Man, I'm telling you, that was the baby was Scarlet Witch.
She's a little girl. She's
no,
still alive.
That baby was not Scarlet Witch. That girl was not Scarlet Witch. It was not.
It was his sister.
It was his sister, but it wasn't.
Polaris.
No, not Polaris.
Confirmed
That's not his
they
sister.
confirmed it in an article, where they said that I think the director confirmed it, saying that it wasn't Scarlet Witch. That Scarlet Witch isn't in this X-Men universe, basically, and so she, she didn't die and stuff, but she did die in this movie, and it was a very emotional scene, just seeing all these characters that you love and all these characters that you care about die, and then Peter, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, he just, like, him saying, I don't want to go, like, I don't want to leave, like, he was just like, I don't want to die, like, this isn't really fair, like, and Tony was just like holding him, and it was just like, Tony was like thinking, I think Tony was thinking at that moment, like shit, like, like
say we fucked up. We fucked up.
Yeah, this is the only way, but we fucked up. Like, that scene right there is just, it was nuts. It was just like, geez, man, like, I can't believe that they, I mean, they definitely had the balls to do it, and I give Marvel
the dead silence when the credits rolled, man. Everybody was like, "That's it? That's the way it ends?"
Yeah, everybody was just like, "Are you serious right now?" Like, yeah.
Nobody believed serious. It, man. Everybody was like, "What? Oh, hell no!" That was definitely a lot for everybody to chew on. It really was.
It's just the whole fact of Thanos just walking over everybody, and like everybody, like, they just trying to grab him, and like they trying to tackle him, but they just can't stop him, and he just get to who he want to get to, and he just snap his fingers, and it's like, damn, all the stuff that they did for him to try to stop him from just doing this. Man, if Switch was smart, if the Switch was smart, they'd have had marketing rights all over that. I'm just saying.
But the thing is, though, the reason he got to do that was because Doctor Strange did see all those possibilities. This was the only way. He tells Tony Stark, this was the only way. Strange
knew. He was like, this is the only way we're going to be able to win. And he figured out that, if this is the only way, then we gotta do it that way. And they did, and Marvel, had the balls to do it, and I'm glad that they did, because it sets up for, what are the possibilities of what we're gonna see. It's gonna be interesting, man. And jeez, man, just that scene alone was just like, it was a lot. It was almost a little too much, but at the same time, it was like we needed it, at that time.
Yes, we did. And then the thing is, though, we go to the after credit sequence. Now, normally there's 2, right? Sometimes 3. This time it was only 1. It was only 1. And when we get to that one credit sequence, it's like it's in New York City, and we notice 2 people are driving and whatnot. and they're hearing about the news and the stuff that's going down in Wakanda, and we know this is actually Nick Fury and Maria Hill. Now, Samuel L.
Right.
Jackson had alluded to that. He wasn't in the film, but he had to lie, people. He had to lie, all right, because they don't want to give away what was going to come in the movie. And then
Technically,
after
he
that,
wasn't in the film.
Yeah, technically he wasn't, but
yeah, he wasn't, but he was still in the after credit sequence, which is still part of the film. And this is what actually finishes the film, because without this scene, we don't have context as to what's to come. Because then Maria Hill fades out of existence, and then that's when Nick Fury starts. Even before that, they see a car crash in front of them. They notice nobody's driving the car. We see a helicopter smash into the side of a building. Then right there, that's when he notices Maria Hill fading out of existence. Then Nick Fury starts to run towards the car because he's starting to feel kind of, you know what I'm saying? He's feeling something. So he grabs this pager. As he's about to hit the pager, he notices his whole arm is fading out of existence. And he was about to say his classic line, "Mother." And right there, he fades out. All right, I was like, man, that is classic, bro. Just to see that one scene,
and
I
then you
was
see
like,
what's on
no,
the thing,
and then we go
the
to
beeper drops. Exactly, the beeper drops and it says sending.
Yep, we see
And
that
then
pager.
we see the insignia.
Just like, oh man, I was just like, yes, yes. I was yelling in the theater.
Exactly, because we knew what it was, but like half the audience was like, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
All right, because only the ones that are in the know it. We knew it was the Captain Marvel insignia. Now that's the reason I wanted to touch up on anime, because for people that don't know, if you're into anime and you want to know Captain Marvel's power levels, think Super Saiyan Goku. All right, that's Captain Marvel.
No, I think she's stronger than that.
No, she's definitely stronger than that. But
like
just to give them an idea.
Goku.
Yeah, Super Saiyan God Goku, exactly. That's Captain Marvel, people. All right. So right there, when we saw that, we was like, "Oh yes!" My daughter and my son-in-law called me because they wasn't sure. They was like, "Yo, what was that? What was that thing on the pager?" And I was like, "Yo, that's Captain Marvel." And they was like, "Oh," I was like, "Yes." Oh, I was like, "You remember how Black Panther started off this year? How much of a banger that was to let everybody know about Wakanda, T'Challa, and Vibranium? That's the way Captain Marvel is going to kick off next year before we get into the Avengers 4 movie."
Yeah,
yeah, what were your thoughts on that, man, with the whole Captain Marvel thing, man, everybody?
I mean, you got to think about it. Captain Marvel is they ain't gonna have her as OP as y'all think that she gonna be. I think they're gonna bring her power levels down some.
She gonna be OP, bro. If they have Thor being Thor, Captain Marvel gonna be Captain Marvel, bro.
You think so? She gonna come straight on the scene OP?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it like this.
They're gonna show it to us in the Captain Marvel.
I'm gonna just put this like this.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Marvel got her powers from Marvel, one of the Kree, from the same race as Ronan the Accuser.
Yep.
Ronan the Accuser is weak compared to her.
Mm-hmm.
Ronan the Accuser is one of the strongest people in Marvel.
Oh damn! So she
remember he grabbed an Infinity Stone just like Thanos, and he put that shit on his hammer.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think the next movie gonna be all about Thanos, and so I just don't see her being that OP.
Oh man!
Oh no, she's gonna be OP.
You gotta be
the thing is, it's not just gonna be her though.
All right, Chuck. Chuck. I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna sum this up to you, because this is the only way I know you gonna get it. Because you're an X-Men fan.
Right.
You remember how OP Rogue was?
Yeah.
Rogue stole all her powers from Captain Marvel.
Okay, the flight now, but Rogue ain't that OP though.
Are you crazy?
Flight and super strength. That's what she stole from Captain Marvel. She ain't steal the power cosmic.
Yeah, Captain Marvel got the power cosmic. She only got part of her power.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, yeah.
Chuck, I can't believe you actually believe that Captain Marvel's not going to be OP.
Man, I don't.
Look, Chuck. That's why the Captain Marvel movie takes place in the 90s. And then we're gonna find out where she's been at all this time at the end of that movie.
Right. So
All
y'all
right.
think in the 90s she's gonna be OP.
And
Yes,
on
in the
top of
90s.
this,
What
she
want to know what the
she
movie's
is
about? It's about the
also
Kree Skrull War. So she's gonna be in an intergalactic war in her movie.
okay.
It's gonna be awesome.
People don't see this shit coming. They're gonna people gonna be fucking. Their wigs are all gonna be blown the fuck back when next year comes. Because they're gonna see. Look. Basically, the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. It's a movie to make us calm down from what we just saw. All right, it's a palate cleanser. All right, because people are devastated and distraught after this movie.
Yeah,
All right, so that's gonna be the
shit.
palate cleanser, and they're gonna do their own story throughout the movie, and then in the after credit sequence, they're gonna bring us up to speed. All right, so who knows? Hank Pym may fade out of existence. All right, you know, some of the people around him may fade out of existence, but Ant-Man and Wasp are confirmed to come back in Avengers 4. And if you think about it, who was still there? The original Avengers lineup. All right, because Hawkeye is going to be coming out in the next movie. Maybe his family faded out of existence. All right, so that gives him a motivation in order to come fight. The original Avengers, Ant-Man, Wasp, Rocket, Nebula, that has a pivotal role in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. She's the one that actually gets the glove from Thanos. And Captain Marvel. All right, so we're going to be seeing some major stuff pop off next year. Who knows if the Red Skull is going to come into play? All right, because he's still around.
Right.
His minions are still around, right? Because I don't think all of them died, or did they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, the big dude died. Proxima Midnight, she got smashed to atoms.
Oh, Thanos. Thanos.
Yeah. So
Now,
either way, though,
what's the one that went out in space? That don't mean he necessarily dead. It just mean
he dead. He dead. He ain't coming back. They
Man,
did him like aliens. They did him like the alien queen.
Hey,
yeah, he was the coolest one though.
You get floated in space. It's over with for you unless your name Freezer.
Shit, no, Thor did the shit.
Thor,
yeah, but Thor is different though, man. Exactly.
Yeah, I know he is.
Know what I'm saying? It's like even the Guardians were shocked when Thor opened up his eyeball and shit. And that's another character that's going to show up in the next movie, Valkyrie. All right, because Thor alluded to half the Guardians surviving. Valkyrie got away with half the Guardians. So if anything, Korg is with her, probably Meek as well. All right, so will they tie into the next movie? I don't know, but I know definitely we're going to be seeing Valkyrie.
Now, Chuck, didn't I said this about the Hulk's friends? Like, they're going to show up eventually.
You talking about the one that was on Ragnarok?
Yep. The same people Collider just mentioned.
I mean, I don't doubt it. That's why I'm looking at like the people that they ain't get no big role in the first one is gonna be in the second one.
Yo, imagine they throw something out of left field because you know the Red Skull definitely caught everybody by surprise in this movie, right?
Yeah.
What if in the next movie, let's say Thunderbolt Ross ain't fade out of existence, and they pull out the Abomination to back them up?
Or what if Thunderbolt Ross turned into the Red Hulk?
Yo, there's many different ways they could go. Yo.
I don't think they're gonna get that complicated.
But I would like to see the Abomination come back, man. That's like that. That's like a big powerhouse that they could use and shit as sacrifice, really, if they want to.
Right, and they probably could do him better justice now, because man,
do a Suicide Squad type thing, man. You do this for us, this shit, we let you go. Like fuck that. Or either that, or we all die if you don't do this. Period. I was like, I don't know, but it's definitely gonna be exciting, man. Yeah. What do you guys think could possibly happen?
It's gonna be interesting. I will say that I just don't know where they're gonna take it, how they're gonna really put this into existence and stuff. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, it's definitely something good to talk about. I just don't know, like, how well or who is gonna come back, or how well um they're gonna.
I'm thinking like most of the people that
Okay.
faded out of existence, they're gonna do something in order to bring them back. Because in
Hey,
the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, issue number 4 is when everybody faded out of existence, but there were still 2 more issues to go, issues 5 and 6. All right, where
right,
they actually flipped the scales and brought a lot of the heroes back. But I'm
right.
thinking that we're still going to have some major losses. I'm thinking part of the Avengers, the original Avengers lineup, is going to bite the dust, man. Anywhere from Tony Stark to Cap, and whoever else character is going to go, man. We don't know. We really don't know. But I know they're going to stick to their guns, and we
Hey,
are going to see deaths.
me myself, I don't really think that the people that faded away are actually dead.
Nah, I think they're in the Soul Stone.
I think they're either in the Soul Stone or they're in the alternate universe. Well, Soul Stone could be alternate universe.
Yeah, that is the alternate universe. That's where Gamora's at. So I have a feeling that they'll probably bring everybody, but I don't think Gamora would necessarily come back in the next one. I think
Because
Gamora will come into play in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 when Adam Warlock comes into the picture.
yeah, because wouldn't he have the power to actually bring her back?
Exactly.
But she already stated that she was gonna be in the next movie. Like she already been filming for it, so she gonna be in the next one. So I doubt it.
All right.
Yeah, matter of fact, I ran across that this earlier today. I probably sent it to you where she was talking about like she had already started preparing more filming for the next Avengers movie.
Chuck, you have to crush like everybody's hopes and dreams, don't you?
I mean, hey, it's amazing.
We're talking about the
Like,
news reports. We're talking about the movies, man. Don't care about the news reports.
yeah, man, but look, the thing about it is he wanted to stay dead longer. I wanted to go ahead and get back to life. 'Cause I think, but she really need to play a major role into the next Avengers movie. You know, she got to be the one. If with the Soul Stone, they got to do something to get her because she got to be the one to carry it.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it shattered Star Wars' record, bro. The Force Awakens, man, $248 million, and these people came off with 257.4 million.
Well, that's because Avengers and this Marvel universe has just it's been dominating because people love this stuff, and people still do love Star Wars. It's just like it's just it, it's it, I, it's just more like people's childhoods coming to reality, because a lot of people read their comic books when they were a kid. A lot of
mm-hmm.
people know who these characters are over, Force Awakens being, a set of new characters mixed with old characters. It's just kind of like it wasn't really surprising that this movie was going to surpass that movie, and
Yeah.
honestly I don't really see it stopping at all. I think the movie's going to surpass maybe I think it could even surpass Avatar as being the best or the highest grossing movie of all time. Honestly, just for the fact
It may.
that good. Like it was just that good of a movie. It was, and I hear a lot of people in the wilds of the film industry, saying, "Oh, well, these Marvel movies are ruining our, the filming industry." It's all this like negative towards these movies because the stories are better than the movies that these people are making. Like it's just that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's all jealousy. It's all jealousy of them saying, the Marvel movies are just ruining everything because of the fact that these movies, the stories that are there are so good that it's like, most people go to the movies because they want to see action. They want to see this like epic movie. You know, a lot of people don't go see a movie.
They want an escape from
Yeah,
reality.
they don't go see a movie like a drama movie. You know, like people don't see that anymore. Like it's not like how it was back in the 50s, 60s, you know, even 70s, maybe even not so much the 80s, but the 90s, but like, you know, it's not like when it was back then where people would just go see movies, you know, for,
Yeah,
you know,
they'll go
for
see musicals, singing in the
yeah, yeah, they'll
rain,
go
just
see
singing in the
musicals.
rain.
They would go see, you know, like drama movies, things like that. There wasn't really anything that was like substantial, except for maybe King Kong, Godzilla, things like that. That
Mhm.
really, you know, really made people be like, "Oh man, we got to go see that. We have to see that. That's definitely something we got to see in a theater."
Yeah.
You know, and now it's like we get these movies where it's just like it's epic, you know, we want to see epic movies, and you go where the audience is, you know, then and if you can't go where the audience is, then of course you're going to hate on it, of course you're going to say stuff about it, of course you're
Yeah.
going to be like, oh well, it's ruining this industry, and it's like, no, it's not, it's actually
No,
helping this industry to realize that
they
it's
could still do their films, but
yeah,
on Netflix, HBO,
yeah.
Amazon.
I mean,
All right.
look at what the resources we have now. Like you said,
Exactly.
Netflix, like Amazon, like Hulu, like, you know, HBO even like has their own original content. Like it's just,
Exactly.
you know, it's like you can go other places, other platforms to do that type of stuff instead of, you know, putting it out in theaters and not making any money. Guaranteed you're gonna make more money doing it on Netflix or something like Hulu than you would putting it in a theater, especially since it's just a drama or it's just you know, it's a low budget indie or whatever, you know.
Hey, you know what
People don't
know
care
the
about those
biggest
type of movies anymore, you know. People care about the action, the comedies, and the horror movies. That's what they care about. They want to see
Yeah.
this, you know,
Yeah,
these
because horror has
crazy,
been did a big resurgence, man, especially with it.
yeah, huge. That movie
Huge,
was
huge.
huge.
and
That was one of the
Definitely did a big
funniest
job
movies
with
I
that.
ever saw in my life.
and the big problem
I know
with
to you and whatnot.
televisions.
But that's the thing, though. I like the way you pointed that out, though. That people was always, it's just envy. It's just envy. Jealous one's envy. All right,
Yeah,
because they've been talking about superhero fatigue for years. But yet, at the beginning of this year, we had a superhero movie with an all black cast.
yeah,
And it made Avengers money opening weekend, people. $202
exactly.
million
And that's
in the
Avengers money.
US.
That's not. That's
Exactly.
not like,
Avengers
you know.
money, bro. Know what I'm saying? With a character that was never a lay A-lister. He became an
No.
A-lister like a motherfucker after this shit, though. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Know
he
what I'm
did.
saying? But with a character that
Who
was never even an A-lister.
you talking
And an
about
all-black
Killmonger?
cast. So, no,
No,
man. Talking
Black
about Black
Panther.
Panther.
Black
Know what I'm
Panther
saying? Because,
wasn't an A-lister in the comics.
And
Well, he
A-list
was in the
yeah.
comics.
character.
He became
Yeah,
an A-lister after this like a motherfucker. Think about it. So Iron Man wasn't even an A-lister when he did his first movie. He was a B-lister.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he ended up becoming an A-lister right after that. Thor, a B-lister, ended up becoming an A-lister. Because think about it. Marvel's A-listers was Spidey, Hulk, and the X-Men.
Yeah.
That was Marvel's A-listers.
and Cap.
Nah, Cap was a B-lister.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That's why they put them
Spider-Man
in the Avengers.
were huge. That's why those movies went to Fox and Sony, is because of the fact that they knew that they could bank off of those movies. You know, the X-Men and the
Mhm. That's
Spider-Man
why.
Spider-Man.
movies.
Think about it. That's why all the studios they bought all the popular characters first. Universal
Yeah.
they took Hulk, Sony took Spidey, Fox took the Fantastic Four, which is
Yeah.
also A-listers, and the X-Men. All right, they was taking all the big properties off of Marvel's hands.
And now look at what Marvel owns and look at what Disney owns. You know, it's just like it's
We're getting all their stuff back.
yeah, they're getting all their stuff back, and they're gonna make him even better, people. Like
Yes,
this isn't the end. Like
this is the tip
if
of
you
the
think this is the end,
iceberg.
you're gonna be hurt because
People just do not know. It's like this is the end of season 3. All right, Infinity War was the end of season 3. Avengers 4, whatever they call it, right? It's going to be the beginning of season 4, phase 4. All right, where it's going to chart the new path that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to take going forward. All right, and this is where we're going to see crazy OP characters from Nova to Captain Marvel to Adam Warlock to Galactus coming on the scene, Silver Surfer. I mean,
we're gonna be seeing Superman-esque type of characters. That's what we're seeing, and it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be ridiculous, man. I mean, dude, I'm just excited for the future of the MCU now. And I've loved everything that's come so far, but where we're going now is going to be into uncharted territory. There's a reason why they kept James Gunn on to like spearhead the cosmic side of the MCU.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow.
Well, that's the thing. When I saw the newest trailer for Ant-Man, I was just like, I got more excited for it because I was just
my gosh, right? That trailer was so sick.
This movie, I was just like, okay, I'm in for Ant-Man and the Wasp because we know because we heard snippets of where they're at in the Marvel universe as of right now. So we're gonna be able to see where they're at right then and there, and then we'll probably see what happens with what happened in Infinity War. You know, and it's gonna be, dude. Oh man, the Marvel universe is just the cinematic universe is just gonna get better, especially with Captain Marvel because I'm a huge Captain Marvel fan, and like that right there, I was just like, done. You know, like like DC cannot. I mean, DC couldn't come back before. They really can't come back now. Like,
I got a question. I got a question, and this is something I really don't know. Who came first, Supergirl or Carol Danvers or Kara Danvers? Which one came first? I don't know.
Supergirl or Captain Marvel? I don't know. I think probably Supergirl. I'm just saying, but
actually,
I can't really be sure.
I think it was. I think it was Supergirl. I think. I'm pretty sure it was. But I honestly, at this point, who gives a shit? Because these movies are just too good, man. These movies are going to be just too good that DC's not going to be able to come back. They're not going to be able to make a comeback at all. I'm telling you right now, like there is not going to be a good, you know. I mean, there might be good movies from the DC universe, you know, like you know, Aquaman. I'm kind of excited to see where they go with that, but we're not going to see this type of level of.
Oh yeah, they got a couple years before they get there.
Well, I don't even think they'll ever get there because I mean, I think they've already squandered what they've done, you know, already, you know, especially with, you know, Batman versus Superman, and then, you know, Justice League. Justice League was good, but it wasn't like awesome, you know. It wasn't like this thing that we were expecting it to be.
They need to clean house. That's what they need.
No, I'm gonna tell you like this. The reason why I feel the way you do about the Justice League movie is because the Justice League movie really had no build up other than Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wonder Woman movie actually count, but it came so late in the game to where. Yeah. I mean, it was a great movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was so late in the game to where it was like, you not already made like 3 crap movies, and it's the only good one.
Yeah. And nobody and people loved Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was a fantastic film, and I will still say that, you know, even after this movie, you know, even after Infinity War, I'll say that you know, Wonder Woman was a fantastic film, but that's the thing, like you can't just have one movie be a fantastic movie. And then expect people to just be like, oh well, you know, we're in for Justice League, we're in for Aquaman, we're in for the Flash.
Right, you should have put all those characters out first.
Yeah,
so people would know. You know what I'm saying? Because certain, just like Marvel, they got certain people that don't know.
Dedicated too much of the movie to Cyborg. There was a lot of parts of the movie dedicated to the Flash. Those are things that hurt the movie and slowed the movie down. We had a Flash that was a bumbling idiot in this movie, bro.
Right.
Wouldn't it been better if we would have had a previous Flash movie that he would have gone through all those growing pains, and then we got like a full-fledged Flash in this movie?
Man, I would have been happy with the Flash from the TV show, even though I know it wasn't possible. But
yeah, so would I. I agree with you on that. So
I definitely agree on that one. I think the Flash from the TV show.
I mean, he played a completely better Barry Allen. Like I wouldn't have even used that. I wouldn't have used Barry Allen as the Flash in this movie. I would have used any one of the other ones. Like, I mean, it was a couple different Flashes, a couple different species. Even the Reverse Flash pretended to be the Flash for a while.
Yeah, but you know how they always do, though. They gonna use Barry Allen because of the name.
No, Barry Allen is not the most popular Flash, though.
I mean, yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Man, how?
Wally West is the most popular Flash. He was the Flash longer than Barry Allen.
Let me rephrase that in. The most well-known Flash is Barry Allen.
No, he's not, Chuck. He's just since TV.
No, before then, everybody know Flash is Barry Allen. Wally West comes secondhand. That's what people.
If you've only seen the cartoons, but if you've read the comic books, Wally West was Flash through what, late 80s, 90s, 2K era. 90s. It was Wally West.
No, Wally West was the Flash for 30 years, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it. I'm saying like on a hardcore level. I'm talking about more like the more casual it is.
Yeah, he's talking about the cartoons. Since like in the Justice League cartoons, it was the Barry Allen Flash. That's what he's referring to.
Right. So
Barry Allen way popular now than Wally West. Like Wally West
now Barry Allen, because Barry Allen did a resurgence.
But like if Barry Allen like died in the TV show or in the comics or whatever, people would be fucking losing their minds.
Well, he did. That's how Wally West took over. He died in the 1980s in Crisis on Infinite Earths. They killed Flash. And then Wally West, which was Kid Flash at the time, took up the mantle. That's why he ended up being Flash in the comic books for almost 30 years, because Barry Allen was dead. But then for the cartoons, when they decided to bring out the Justice League cartoons, they put the Barry Allen Flash instead of Wally West, right? Because they wanted to be faithful to the original Justice League, which was Barry Allen.
And then they had to come back. And then they had to come back and explain why all this stupid stuff happened.
Yeah, because the people that didn't read Crisis on Infinite Earths, they was like, wait a minute, but how is he Wally West in the comic books, but on the TV show he's Barry Allen? But they explained it though. But yeah, Barry Allen did have a resurgence, so you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But Wally West was Flash for quite a number of years. Yeah, but how did this turn from Infinity War to Flash, bro?
I mean,
I know, right?
Flash,
like, I think we've gone like over like almost 3 hours.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah. I think we didn't really dissected this movie to pieces. Hey, what's that that game? I can't think of the name of it. It was a little chessboard. You had a little tweeze and you got to stick down up inside of the person and they'll buzz if you touch it. I'm the only one that ever seen this game.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Chuck.
Doctor,
I can't. I'm a little tired right now.
Oh man, somebody know.
But the thing
I just told you the name of the game called Operation.
Yeah, that's it.
Operation.
Yeah, that's what we just did to this Avengers Infinite War.
I can't concur with.
Oh yeah, we dissected it.
Saying.
Yeah.
I feel you on that, but I got to say just one thing further though before we get off. That just lets you know what Marvel Studios is doing as far as their character versus what Warner Brothers is doing. Marvel is playing chess while Warner Brothers is still playing checkers.
And that ain't no fanboy talk right
now. I don't think Warner Brothers should be in charge of DC movie affairs.
They should do their own thing.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact, they should hand off DC to Disney. and then have Disney create their own DC studios.
That would be nuts, though. I think
they ain't gonna happen. It's impossible.
No, I know it won't be happening. It'll be a monopoly, really.
Half of the earth will be leaning to the side.
Yeah, man. But Warner Brothers, they really need to get their act together.
Yeah,
I think they need to trust in their filmmakers. Yeah, they need to create a studio like Marvel did. They have a giant studio with a whole bunch of producers, people that work in animation, people that are storytellers, writers, and everything. So the directors that they don't necessarily get directors that even know anything about special effects. They get directors like the Russo brothers that used to do freaking episodes of Community. I mean, they get directors like James Gunn that used to do small indie films like The Super.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not getting these big time directors. They're getting people that know how to tell stories with heart. That's what they're getting.
Right.
While Warner Brothers is getting these big name directors that want to put their own stamp on shit.
Yeah. Who don't be putting their own stamp on stuff. And this is. But that could be another conversation.
I like the fact that Marvel are actually hiring people who love their comics to direct their movies.
That's another thing. That's another thing, that they know who the characters are and they have a deep love for the characters. That's why they normally get the job at Marvel. And Warner Brothers is whoever gave them the best story pitch. Oh, well, I think Batman should be like this now. I was like, okay, well, guess what? That as good as Christopher Nolan's Batman was, it can't work with the rest of the DC universe.
Completely off subject. Have anybody else watch Batman Ninja?
No,
nah, man. I want to see it. Is it good? Is it dope? Is it dope? Is it dope?
Watch it.
Hey, we're gonna say that.
It is dope. It is dope. It is dope. All right.
Hey, we're gonna say that time for next week. Then I'm gonna check it out tonight, then, or tomorrow night.
Well,
that's what's up.
I bought it. Like, real talk, I bought it.
So I couldn't find it.
I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's out. It's out.
It's
actually out.
If y'all got that,
came out, 3 days ago?
No, it's been out more than 3 days. I watched it at least a week or so. 5 days ago.
I just heard about it a couple of days ago that it came out.
You told me about it.
Yeah, that was a couple of days ago.
Man, that was the last podcast.
Oh yeah, I showed it.
That was a couple days
ago. Because we was talking about that, and I was thinking about there was so much Avengers stuff going on that it was kind of hard to catch a little to catch that Batman and all this stuff that's been flying around. But we'll talk about that Batman next week on the
I'm gonna just give you a little lowdown on it. I'm not gonna tell you nothing about it. It's just, do anybody know anything about the warring states of Japan?
Feudal Japan? Yeah.
Feudal Japan.
Yeah.
When Oda Nobunaga, stuff like that.
Yep.
That's along the lines of what's going on. Basically, the Joker has taken Oda's place. And that's all I'm gonna tell you.
And we're gonna hold the rest of the Batman for next week, because that's when we going to the Batman. Who gonna probably who y'all think gonna wear the Infinity Gauntlet, and maybe what y'all think Avengers 4 name gonna be, because it's time for them to unveil it now. So this Avengers out, so it can't be a spoiler. So anybody have anything to say before we get out? No. We've been out here for like 3 hours now.
I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good ass podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody out there, appreciate y'all for rocking with us. You know what I'm saying? About a panel. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all for coming on with me. You know what I'm saying? I had a good time. Go ahead and end this thing on Colada.
All right. Well, everybody tune in next week on the Heroic Vibrations podcast on the same YouTube time, same YouTube channel. And we out this month.
And I still like Popeye's chicken.
Yeah.